Crime Intelligence Head Dumsani Kumalo have linked Shanik to a string of cross-border hijackings. Last year, KZN police revealed Shanik's criminal record was deleted by a police employee with the incident under investigation. Adams told the commission yesterday that Shanik, who accompanied him in Durban for a recent court appearance, is innocent.
A press conference was later called by Lieutenant General Mkwanazi, where a statement is made by General Gopal that someone had broken into the offices of SAPS and deleted Mr. Shanik's criminal record. Mr. Shanik has proven to me that his record was lawfully expunged, and we invite this commission to call the head of forensics to explain the facts. Mr. Shanik, in fact, had never been convicted or accused of a single hijacking.
Adams is expected to continue with his testimony today. The state's first witness in the Usindiso building fire trial has detailed harrowing scenes about the day 76 people died in 2023. Joburg EMS Station Commander Chico Nyati testified in the Johannesburg High Court yesterday. The NPA has been allowed to reopen the case against Tembiso Mdlalose, who is accused of starting the blaze in the hijacked building. Nkosikona Malingamnisi reports.
Chico Nyati, who led firefighters at the scene, told the court yesterday how desperate residents jumped from the building while others were thrown out in an attempt to escape the raging flames. Nyati also detailed how the victims' bodies were numbered. He said about 12 of the bodies were charred, but emphasized that numbering and identifying the remains fell under the police's responsibility. The defense questioned him on one specific detail, how one of the bodies was numbered twice.
When the number was allocated, the initial number, where were you?
I was with the team, and then when they put the body down using a blanket, that's where Mr. Mankai and his team approached, took pictures, and allocated that 1-6.
And according to your own testimony, later on, that number was changed, is that correct?
There was another number on that board. It was not changed.
A new witness is expected to take the stand when proceedings resume on Monday. Or see Kona Malingamnisi, Eyewitness News.
Police are searching for a woman believed to be the girlfriend of the second accused in the murder case of Warren Stock, known as DJ Warris. Officers yesterday released Lengue Buthelezzi's photograph, alleging she was an instigator in the case. Her alleged boyfriend, Victor Majola, is accused of orchestrating the assassination. Majola made another appearance in the Johannesburg High Court yesterday, but his case was postponed for him to get legal representation. Stock was shot last year outside a Johannesburg building. Dimakatso Leshuru has more.
Police have released an identikit of Lengue Buthelezzi after a J50 warrant of arrest was issued by the police's Serious and Violent Crimes Unit. At the time of Victor Majola's bail application, the investigating officer told the court that Warris's details were found, including his address and other personal information, in Majola's cell phone. Majola allegedly received that information from his girlfriend, known as Hlengiwe, against whom Stock had applied for a protection order prior to his death. According to the investigating officer at the time, Hlengiwe was part of an informal committee illegally collecting rent from residents of the hijacked building. She's also allegedly the one who provided the DJ's pictures to the man who now stands accused of orchestrating the murder. Dimakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News.
And US President Donald Trump says he's launching a new campaign to target Iran's economy, threatening punishments on any country that helps or does business with the Islamic Republic. The intensified economic pressure campaign comes as the war nears its 6th month with no immediate diplomatic or military off-ramp in sight. The vital Strait of Hormuz is still significantly choked off. The U.S. Treasury has for months been carrying out an effort dubbed Operation Economic Fury, aimed to cut off Iran's funding with targeted sanctions. Trump, on his Truth Social network, announced the following: any country that allows its financial institutions, businesses, airports or government entities to provide any type of lifeline to Iran will itself face tremendous economic consequences. Gold is trading at $4,495.58 an ounce. The rand is at 16.11 to the dollar, 21.91 to the pound, 18.80 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $91.92 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the Makwa North between Boysons Road and Empire Road. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North approaching the Geldenhuys interchange.
And in your sport, Mamelodi Sundowns set PSL record with a win over Golden Arrows, but it's not just celebrations as Kaliso Mudau has suffered an injury for the season. Proteas women elect for youth in their first ever T20 series against Zimbabwe, and the men's top seeds out of the Cincinnati Open.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. Johannesburg starting at 8 degrees, peaking at 30. Pretoria 13 and 31. Vereniging 6 and 30 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Suspended Member of Parliament Fadil Adams has defended alleged crime or criminal, at least Stuart Shanik, in his testimony at the Madanga Commission.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Every promise, every ward, every word. Follow every moment of the local government elections on 702 Cape Talk and ewn.co.za.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
7 minutes after 6 o'clock. Welcome to the program. It's Thursday, the 20th of August, the year of our Lord, 2026. My name indeed is Bongani Bingwa. We start with this extraordinary story involving the Democratic Alliance and their chief spokesperson on finances. You could almost call him, in a sense, the Treasurer General. This is the top guy for the Democratic Alliance when it comes to the money. He's been a part of Parliament's finance structures, overseeing issues involving government spending and institutions. That obviously includes the South African Reserve Bank. Well, the Reserve Bank has flagged a company he started, Castello, because they were alerted by Castello's bankers that there were some questionable transactions happening. Eye-watering amounts. 4 billion rand is the figure that's been bandied about. But if you look at the court papers, it goes perhaps to nearly 10 million rand. They were offering loans because you and I are allowed to take X amount out of the country. And so they would find anybody and offer them, wink, wink, a loan as a vehicle to take those amounts out of the country. And they said, no, but it was going to come back. Not in the denominations in the foreign currency, it exited. The DA says, out of an abundance of caution, they've asked him to step aside for a little bit until all of this is resolved.
So they found ways to get around the exchange controls from the Reserve Bank by using individual
Some of the people that were loaned amounts were earning, I think, something like 15,000 rand a month, and they were being given loans of up to 250,000. Yeah?
Sure.
Unsecured, with no way of ever paying them should the knock come calling. It's a really unbelievable story. And I suppose one of the things we must ask is, how is the DA's response any different from what we've seen from the ANC when their people have been found wanting? The guy, of course, at the center of this saga maintains that he's no longer running the operations of the business. This is Mark Burke, and he's resigned his chairmanship of the organization, so he doesn't deal with the day-to-day decisions. The party was standing firm, by the way, earlier this week, saying they'll support him, and a little bit of a U-turn now we are seeing. We'll speak to Carol Payton, News 24's political editor, about that story. And then, what would you expect to happen when there's a clear case of corruption? Wouldn't you want an investigation? Wouldn't you want a prosecution, a conviction? Wouldn't you want, say, for example, the Special Investigating Unit, which often runs after the money, to work in concert with the Hawks and the National Prosecuting Authority? So why is it that with nearly 6,000 criminal referrals made to the NPA by the SIU, only 10% have resulted in criminal dockets? Scopa heard all about it from all those three entities, and we'll speak to the chairperson, Songezo Zibi, about the path forward. And I'm so excited. Just before 9 o'clock, we speak to the award-winning guitarist and producer, Louis Mhlanga.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa is brought to you by BCX, helping South African organizations turn cloud, data and AI investments into faster decisions, smarter operations and measurable business outcomes. Of course, there's an entire team behind the scenes helping put the show together and produce it. Ntsiki is with us this morning, as is Siamtanda and Karabo behind the scenes. KG, his real name is Khomutso, but if I ever call him Khomutso, he thinks, what's wrong? What did I do? Amo is here. If I call you Amuhelang, you don't worry, do you?
No, I don't worry. It's my name.
And Muteo insists on being called Muteo, not Mo.
I fought all my life.
All my life.
I had to fight, man.
My colleagues Muteo Haripe and Amo Ramila are also in the studio with me. And it brings me very nicely to our shout out this morning. And I don't even know what the correct expression here is. But what are those titles people give you? And we've had this conversation as it pertains to age, but I want to widen it a lot more. Those titles people give you, or even, I suppose, terms of endearment, most often is because they don't remember your name, really, right? And so they'll call you, hello, darling. You know, darling, pass me that. Clive Moachi. Oh, I better be careful what I say now. He's no longer just our producer. He's one of our bosses now, isn't he?
You putting out a name and surname.
He used to say, especially to the colleagues in the building, oh, darling, pass me this. You know, do not ever, but ever come to me and say, hey, big guy. Do not ever. There will be an exchange, and it might contain language that is not polite. Okay, maybe not quite, but, you know, all of it will happen inside my head. Amo?
I think it's, you know what? Because I make an effort to remember people's names for that very reason, that I don't want to be calling everybody Chomi or
Hello, Chomi.
Hey, Chomi, or, you know, no. But when people start calling you Ausi, and I'm just like, okay.
Is that the one you don't like?
I'm just like,
Ausi. What about dear?
Yeah, and dear as well.
There's a patronizing thing to dear. Sorry, dear.
Or darling. It says you don't remember my name at all.
Gamla,
boss, skulu.
Baba?
I don't mind that.
You don't mind Baba?
Yeah, I say Baba.
Africa Malane says, because the equivalent of that in isiXhosa is dad.
Yeah.
And he says, as he grays, he sees how it makes sense.
He
doesn't like it. What are those terms of endearment that people call you? Strangers, people you may not know very well, who suddenly give you, is it a nickname? Is it a title? Is it a term of endearment? I'm not quite sure what the correct phrase or expression
sometimes
is.
You don't know whether the person can't remember your name or the person is just being disrespectful to your title.
Well, this conversation all, of course, comes after yesterday's appearance at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. I've got to ask you, the people who voted for the National Coloured Congress leader and Member of Parliament, Fadil Adams, what do you think they were thinking as they watched him yesterday? Well, he faced tough questions at that Commission of Inquiry. He'd, of course, attributed missing emails to an 18-month laptop malfunction. And then he went on television and he said he actually had proof. He had proof that, you know, his laptop had not been working. It was a whole messy affair. Have a listen.
When you told the nation that you actually have proof in the context of what was at issue, which is October 2025 until 3 months ago, when you told the nation that you actually had proof of the malfunction over that period, this being the context, you were untruthful.
Chairperson, I was not. I was not. I cannot accept that.
Where is the truth in that?
Chairperson,
where is the
truth would be found with the people that work on the laptops. Unfortunately, I don't have the resources to bring them here. I'm telling, Chairperson, if I may?
Please continue.
I'm telling you, Chairperson, that the statement that I made to the media was in the context that I came to Madlanga and I lied to the commission about my laptop malfunctioning at any given time. It's in that context that I produce the transcripts from the ad hoc and say, yeah, I said it, I think 7 or 8 months ago. There's something wrong with my laptop. It is not for me to sit here and say that, no, I'm unable to access anything because, no, Chairperson. I'm here to tell you that the laptop locks me out of my emails. Sometimes it does not accept my password. Sometimes the thing freezes. And I have no control over it.
Yesterday, of course, there was a lot of back and forth, right? A lot of back and forth in terms of the emails that he said he did not, or at least he was not able to access. Remember, of course, the commission had tried to reach out to Fadil Adams and they'd given him plenty of time to file his statements and his documents, and there were reminders, and he said he didn't have access to his emails. So that was part of that exchange just yesterday. And then things took a bit of a turn. Have a listen to this moment where he has a slip-up in addressing the chair of the commission, Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga.
Can you please try to summarize?
I'm finishing, Chief. Justice.
I'm not Chief, please.
Sorry, Buta. It's just that's how we address an elder in Cape Town. Sorry, Commissioner.
That's how we address an elder, he says. He calls him Chief. And then he goes, Buta. And Justice Madlanga is not having any of it. But he continued. That wasn't the only time. Having been warned, don't call me Chief, he did it anyway.
No, you are 100% right, Chief. And
I said to you, I'm not Chief, please.
Oh,
please
Commissioner.
just try to drum that into your head. I'm not Chief.
Sorry, Commissioner.
Oops, I did it again, right? So that's why we're asking you that question. What is that title people give you? Chief, Gamla, Dimamzo, Osi, Darling, Dear Chomi, and you absolutely cannot stand it.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
Got to take a moment out and just a bit of a shout out to our colleague Clement Manyatela. So last night he launched his foundation, the Clement Manyatela Foundation, and it was a packed house. It was an absolute packed house. The Premier was here. There was a Constitutional Court judge here. Was a Deputy Minister of Basic Education who was here, who gave the address, the keynote address last night. And his foundation, of course, is all about helping young people, particularly from rural areas, access opportunities, right down to career guidance. It's not just about, the reports and the results and the grades, but it's about helping young kids expand their horizons and look for opportunities where they otherwise would not have. His old school principal was here. I spoke to one of his teachers who said that although Clement wasn't necessarily the brightest kid in her class, he was one of those. He and a buddy apparently used to always meet her at the bus and help her carry her bags to the class. I mean, it was just such a beautiful, beautiful night. There were lots of industry colleagues who were here. A number of just prominent people in the country were here. And it was just beautiful to see the support that he received, both as a professional, but also because of his intention. I've put some pictures out on the Instagram. You can go check out his page, and no doubt a couple of people who are here would have posted. It was absolutely beautiful. And I just want to say how proud I am to be known as one of Clement Manyatela's colleagues.
702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa is brought to you by BCX. Built on trusted telecom business connectivity. Powered by cloud, strengthened by security, enabled by AI.
Chief, Baba, you've got a question of your own?
Drum it into your head. Drum it into your head.
Mo? It's a question, Mo.
Well, this morning I want to know, have you ever been caught between two parties, two people, and you just had to either pick a side or find a way around
Okay,
it?
so I have a little story. I once had, I think it was a birthday. This is many, many years ago. All right. And I had an ex with whom I had a mutual friend. So our mutual friend with said ex was invited to the party, not the ex themselves, except both of them arrived at the party. And I was trying something new with someone new, right? And I'd long split up with this person many, many years before. did they not come and basically take over? If somebody wanted something, oh no, get it there, it's in those cupboards. No, I used to put it over there. No, we don't do it like that. No, Bongani doesn't like it this way.
What did you say?
Because
that's what matters.
Yo, guys. And I hadn't invited this person.
You didn't lose this new partner because
I did.
of it. Okay.
I did.
That's all.
And then I was annoyed because I thought, why did you let it get to you?
You are the problem.
Am I the problem? I'm the drama.
702.
Weather.
No drama in the weather today. A fine day in store for Gauteng. Temperatures peaking at 30 degrees in Johannesburg. That's the same for Vereeniging. 31 for Pretoria. Partly cloudy day for Cape Town. A maximum of 19. Bombela 30 degrees. Bloemfontein 21. Mahikeng 31. Durban cloudy to cloudy. They are expecting isolated showers and rain in the evening. A high of 23 there. Gqeberha 20. Kukompo City 21. Kimberley 30 degrees.
EWN Traffic.
Amo, let's have a look at the roads. What are we seeing?
Well, we've got delays on the Markwa North between Boyson's Road and Car Street. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North. This is between the Earlands Interchange and Van Buren Road. While traveling in Boksburg, delays on the N17 West between Osborne Road and Wits Raffles Road. That's due to roadworks there. I'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Bongani and the team. Well, I don't like being called Chomi because even my friends don't call me Chomi. So why are you being fake? And dear as well. I agree with you. Chomi and dear. Judith in Pretoria.
Morning, Bongani Bingwa and the team. You know, I hate when the guy same age as me calling me hot man. Damn. And my wife hates when they call her Krisa. You know, she's quite young and beautiful, but when someone says to her Krisa, she gets very angry, you know. Me, Fetu, it's hot man. Baba from the Val. Have a spend a day, Bongani being one the team.
Morning, Bongani. Morning, everyone. Hi. With regards to title, Bongani. Oh, Bongani, I hate being called old lady. Old lady, old lady. Magreza, old lady. I hate the title, Bongani. Kensani and Rustenburg.
Good morning, 702 Lenders. So I'm a 33-year-old guy, but there are 60 plus men, older men, like call me Booty. Yes, I want a Booty omkhulu. You know, at first, like I used to have a problem with that, but I've gotten used to it. Like every time they call me with such name as Booty Mkhulu, yo, my heart melts. Yeah, boy. So yeah.
Here's the thing: it's when there's people your age, and you think, "Hang on a minute, I don't have a child as old as you are. So how do you get to call me that?" Right? Not a timer to you, but my worst, absolute worst, is, "Hey, big guy."
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Walking the talk, things you need to know at this hour, 25 after 6. Today is World Mosquito Day, a day meant to raise awareness about malaria transmission, and Sir Ronald Ross's 1897 discovery. This is, of course, around the fact that mosquitoes do this to all of us. World Mosquito Day today. The South African anti-apartheid umbrella organization, the United Democratic Front, the UDF, was launched at the Rocklands Community Centre in Mitchells Plain in Cape Town on the 20th of August in 1983. Its inception was inspired by the Union of Anti-Apartheid Organizations opposing the so-called tricameral constitution that was about to be introduced then by the apartheid government. The launch date was chosen deliberately to coincide with the date government initially chose to introduce that constitution. Reverend Frank Chikane was the first major speaker who was shot during the launch but survived, and he called the day a turning point in the struggle for freedom. On this day in 1992, the singer-songwriter and actress Demi Lovato was born, known for the role of Michi Torres in the musical television film Camp Rock and its sequel Camp Rock 2. You'll also know, of course, the songs Sorry Not Sorry from that album Tell Me You Love Me. Oh, of course, it's been reported today that the U.S. National Institutes of Health has ended its ban on funding for South African research projects, and that will open the door for local scientists to apply for grants once more. And remember, we told you yesterday the Cape Peninsula University of Technology had given striking students until 4 o'clock yesterday to vacate premises. Well, now all campuses have been shut down. Students have been ordered to leave residences following an arson attack on the Bellville campus. And this, of course, after days of violent protests over proposed financial recovery plans. You remember we spoke to Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Higher Education Chair Tebogo Litsia, who said no disaster with NSFAS. Well, he said Parliament does not support the evacuation, warning it could leave many students homeless.
702.
The newspapers.
All right, let's have a look at the newspapers. Sfiso Zulu. I'm really keen on the story on the front page of the Business Day. The U.S. National Institutes of Health, NIH, as I said, ending its ban on funding South African research projects. Of course, you'll know South African researchers are at the forefront of global research on things like HIV and tuberculosis, and they've been typically, or at least historically, the biggest recipients of these grants awarded outside the U.S. But all of that was thrown into turmoil last year by U.S. President Donald Trump. The Sowetan front page, Fadil Abrams, jokes, jabs, and jeers from chief to Buta. Adams keeps Madlanga commissioners entertained and irritated. What have you got?
Well, Bongani, with automation growing in the US, there is now an increased number of automated services from robot bartenders. I did not know this was a thing. And self-checkout kiosks. They are now asking for tips. You know, like as you would, I'm telling you, as you would a bartender, a human bartender, a waitress, a cashier, they want tips. So that's the huge conversation. Where is this money going? So that's the nub of the story. Everybody's trying to figure out, where's this money going? Why am I tipping a robot?
EWN Business.
Mateo, why are you making us tell stories? Why are you asking us about tugs
where you
of
are
war?
villains.
Tugs of war.
Absolutely love that. You're a villain in that story, by the way.
I'm the problem.
You are the problem.
So you're asking us, have you been at the center of a tug of war? Either rivals for your affection or friendship, perhaps?
Yeah, or maybe you applied for one job at one place, you got an offer, and the current company
you told
gave
the
you
other
a
one, Sam,
offer.
give me an offer I cannot refuse.
Exactly.
What prompts the question?
Well, popular content creators are caught between a rock and a hard place at the moment. Two giants are fighting over their content. YouTube is offering millions of dollars to popular channels if they upload their videos to the site exclusively for a certain period of time in an effort to halt Netflix pursuit for its biggest stars. The payment would come in a couple of different forms. YouTube has discussed directly financing some programs, and it has also offered major brand deals to creators. Though YouTube hasn't finalized deals with any creators, according to Bloomberg, it is close to an agreement with several partners. YouTube has had to do this because Netflix has been poaching some of the programs on its platform. Netflix is spending millions to build a major video podcast hub, highlighted by a landmark multi-year deal with up to $100 million alongside Spotify with Jay Shetty's On Purpose podcast. The streaming giant is licensing top shows and funding original content to challenge YouTube for its user attention. Now, the platform is targeting 50 to 75 shows at launch, with long-term goals to scale up to about 200 programs. So moving away from just creating series and movies, but also trying to get some of that action that YouTube has been enjoying in terms of podcasts.
All right, so when are we starting our YouTube channel?
It's lucrative.
The indicators?
16 Rand 10 cents against the US dollar. That's the Rand this morning in a good position. 18 Rand 81 against the Euro, and 21 Rand 92 cents against the British Pound. Price of gold is down 0.5% at $4,496 an ounce, and platinum at $1,815. Brent crude at $91.85 a barrel. More business after 7.
It is, of course, Susa Zulu, all about the leader of the National Coloured Congress. What more do you have?
Well, Bongani, the suspended member of parliament, Fadil Adams, has pleaded for the Madlanga Commission to investigate what he terms discrimination of coloured people in spheres of government. The topic was listed in the statement he read out yesterday, despite the matter not being within the commission's terms of reference. Adams is the leader of the National Coloured Congress. He claims police corruption is among factors causing high levels of violence in communities within the Cape Flats, where his constituency is based.
You can't have the conversation about gang violence without having the conversation of a lack of opportunity. And those opportunities are denied to our children. And I've lost friends and nephews and family and loved ones because of this discrimination. And I feel that this commission must look into that. And even if I have to threaten Justice Madlanga today, I will. But we need to look into it.
There are high hopes that tensions at CPUT will be resolved soon following days of protests. Students have been protesting over the university's proposed financial recovery plan, and this is for next year, which has since been revoked pending further consultations. Students have submitted more than 20 demands to Parliament's Higher Education Portfolio Committee. These include calls for the removal of the Vice-Chancellor and the institution's CFO, as well as the release of academic transcripts and certificates to all NSFAS funded students. Some students say they hope the proposed financial recovery plan will be scrapped altogether.
What we're hoping for is an outcome that favors all students, especially students who don't have the financial means to actually follow through with their academics next year and pay this money that is being demanded from them.
Because what's the point of having to hold a meeting if the outcome is going to be the same thing? Same 7,000 registration fee, which is the main cause of this whole issue.
South Africa's inflation rate has cooled, but economists are warning consumers not to get too comfortable. Statistics South Africa reported yesterday that prices decreased to 4.3% in July from 5% the previous month. It's a welcome dip driven largely by cheaper fuel, but economist Kevin Links warns the relief could be short-lived.
So for the moment, I think there is upside risk to South Africa's inflation rate, and that may well prompt the Reserve Bank to increase interest rates again before the end of the year in order to ensure that ultimately they can bring inflation down to 3% on a sustained basis.
Economist Annabelle Bishop says there may still be room for optimism as there's one more CPI print due ahead of the next MPC meeting.
Looking forward, the next MP decision is at the end of September and another CPI print is due before this MPC meeting. Overall, we continue to believe interest rates remain flat for the rest of this year.
And 6 years after stepping down as working royals, Prince Harry and his wife Meghan are moving back to the UK. The British press says the move will happen at the end of the month. The Telegram is reporting that the couple and their children will move to a non-royal residence outside London. Several UK news outlets reported the couple's two children, 7-year-old Prince Archie and 5-year-old Princess Lilibet, had already been enrolled in a British school for the start of the school year in early September. Harry and Meghan left Britain for North America in 2020 during a feud with his family. A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures are at lows of 8 and 13 degrees, peaking at highs between 30 and 31.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the Maikwan North between Boysons Road and Carr Street. There's also queuing traffic reported on the N3 North between the Elands Interchange and Van Buren Road.
The top story this hour, Fadil Adams has pleaded for the Madlanga Commission to investigate what he calls discrimination of coloured people in government spheres.
Ready to take your career to the next level and make a lasting impact? At the Wits School of Governance, you'll gain the knowledge and leadership skills to help shape better public policy, governance and development across Africa. Applications are now open for the 2027 intake with postgraduate diplomas, Master of Management and PhD programs available, including flexible online study options. Apply today at wsg.ac.za. Wits School of Governance, Africa's leading school of governance.
Just Andalex it. Do you have a sore throat? Andalex C Oral Rinse and Spray provides targeted relief from 1 minute that lasts up to 4 hours. It reduces pain and inflammation while numbing the affected areas. It also kills viruses and bacteria that cause sore throats to help prevent serious throat infections. Andalex, South Africa's #1 choice for sore mouth and throats. For more information, speak to your healthcare professional. Just Andalex it.
Andalex, a proud sponsor of The Masked Singer Season 3.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? And it's brought to you by Outsurance. Up to 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. All you do is send us an answer based on anything that piqued your interest during the show, and you win $1,000 for that. You WhatsApp us your name and the answer to 072 702 1702. Later, someone else will ask a question to win 2,000 Rand. Now, you always stand a better chance of being selected if you give us today's answer. And to give us today's answer, if you've SMS'd out to Outsurance to get yourself a quote, so do it now. SMS out to 45142 and you could save on your car insurance.
This is 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa, brought to you by BCX. Built on trusted connectivity, powered by cloud, strengthened by security, enabled by AI.
Hi, 702 lenders. Hi, Bongani. So I hate being called Lala. And there's this lady at work who likes calling everybody Lala, ooh Lala this, ooh Lala that. I just feel like it's diminishing. Oh my word. Imagine being called Lala. And unfortunately she's a senior at work, so I can't really yeah. That's my issue. But anyway, I would like to remain anonymous. Thank you.
Good morning, Chief Bongane, Chief Muteo, Aus, Amu, Olane here from the Val. I know. Yeah, no. Look, for me, Bongane, when you call me a timer, yeah, there's something happening in my head also. I try to be polite, but I think I would definitely give sufficient expression that I would have preferred a different name than timer. Yeah, I mean, I'm not or don't look like timer. So yeah, thanks, Chiefs.
Morning, Bongani. Kitumelo ka mo Kempton Park. I hate it. Most people in my corners of circle of life bambitsa moruti because I go to church and it's public knowledge or even on my social media it's there. So bambitsa moruti and mbora.
He's a man of faith, so they're calling him pastor. I mean, that's essentially what it is, right? Moruti, a pastor. Big guy, don't call me that. What's the other one? I don't think there's very many.
Don't mind Grootman?
I'm just always surprised by it.
Why?
I think I just go, oh, okay. To me, a Grootman is... Ooh, who would be a Grootman? Dan Moyan is a Grootman.
To you, right?
To everyone.
Okay.
To whom is he not a Grootman?
Okay, no, but I'm
You
saying
could
now...
be 7 years old and he's a Grootman. He's a Grootman.
You are not a Grootman.
No.
So you have a problem with that as well.
I said I'm surprised by it.
Okay.
Because I always think, how old do you think I am?
You know,
Do you know what I mean? Not the same age as Dan Mian, I can tell you that. But John Pullman?
Yeah.
He's a Grootman. I'm not.
EWN Sport.
Anthony Teixeira, you get it, right?
Uh-huh.
You get it?
Definitely.
You're not going to call me a Grootman, right?
Not to your face now, apparently.
Oh, wow. Where's Cindy again, Amo? What happened?
Hey, I'm asking the same question.
A very good morning to you. Are there nicknames you dislike? And what do you call them? Are they nicknames or... They're not quite nicknames or terms of endearment, are they? They're just random titles.
Yeah.
People force upon you.
Ram
them down your throat.
Yeah, Big Man is one of those.
Yeah, don't like it either.
Also, I don't like Big Chief together. You're like, I'm either
No,
a chief or I'm
like
Big Man.
choose.
Like, yes, let's not
No.
go both.
All right. What's happening in the world of sport?
Well, we'll start with the football last night as Mamelodi Sundowns continued their unbeaten start to the Betway Premiership season with a 2-0 victory over Golden Arrows. That result also meaning they broke the PSL unbeaten home run record with 31 matches. Now, their last loss at either Loftus or the Lucas Moripa Stadium happened in May 2024 against Stellenbosch. Well, bittersweet celebrations as fullback Kuliso Mudau stretched it off during the first half. Downs boss Miguel Cardozo confirmed the extent of that injury.
Unfortunately, today we got a severe injury from Kulis Mudau. He will be out for sure for a long time. It's an Achilles rupture, so he will be tomorrow seen by the specialist and surgeon for sure on the day after, so that we can start the recovery process. It was even an action that he was alone, so there was no contact. It was not a tackle with an opponent. We work to avoid them, but we don't control.
I love how you say his name is Miguel who?
Cardozo.
Miguel who? Say it one more time. Do it again. Cardozo.
Well, let's switch now, Bongani, to the cricket, where the Proteas women have a different feel and look for the upcoming T20 series against Zimbabwe than the squad which featured at the 2026 World Cup. 10 changes with only captain Laura Wolfart, Anri Dirksen, Sinalo Jafta, Karabo Meso, and Kayla Renica retaining their places. Head coach Mandla Mashimbi coming on 2 years in charge of the side, and he's discussed his learning so far.
And as long as I've got an opportunity to do my job and actually help in changing players' lives, I'm at my most comfortable as a coach. And once I still have the opportunity to do that, I'm going to try and enjoy it as much as I can and make sure that, by the time I decide to say, or CSA decides, Manda, that's it, or I decide to say, it's time, I leave the place better than I found it.
Meanwhile, the Indian men won the first test by 165 runs against Sri Lanka. Patakal player of the match for his 167 and 44. While Sutha managed to be outstanding with the ball as he claimed a 10-wicket haul. Elsewhere, England took control on day one of the first test against Pakistan, courtesy of Robinson and Tung's Fifers. They had the visitors all out for 171 in their first innings, and then by stumps, they had closed that lead to just 59 runs. They're 112 for 2 in their first innings. And in tennis, upsets overnight at the Cincinnati Masters. Men's top 2 seeds Alexander Zverev and Felix Auger-Aliassime dumped out. Zverev gave up a set lead against Tommy Paul, while the Canadian was sent packing in straight sets by Francis Tiafoe. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
Looking to save money on your business insurance? Switch to OUTsurance Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Here's Niku from the Gas Mart.
I was my previous insurer for 9 years before switching to OUTsurance Business Insurance. I'm very happy with my premiums at the moment. I wish we switched sooner to OUTsurance Business Insurance.
Get a quote to switch and save today. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 0800 60,000. Licensed insurer in FSP. TCs and information online.
Looking for your next car? From affordable to fuel efficient or spacious, We Buy Cars has the right option for you. Browse over 15,000 vehicles on webuycars.co.za or visit one of their 20 branches nationwide. Plus, they offer finance solutions, insurance, warranties, and more for total peace of mind. Thinking of selling your car? Get an instant offer on webuycars.co.za.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Hi, I'm Bongani Bingwa. I'm 13 years old and I go to Lear School Fleer. When I grow up, I want to be a professional soccer player and I'm excited to play the Whiz Quiz with you, Bongani Bingwa. And I, with the money, will save it.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
EWN Traffic.
You can call me Uncle. I don't mind that one. Hey? It's 7:15. The CWN Traffic brought to you by OUTsurance. SMS out to 45142 now and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Delays on the N3 North specifically.
Yeah, that's correct. Bongani, in the Germiston area, those long-term roadworks are really causing delays between the Elands interchange and the Geldenhuys interchange while traveling on the N12 and the R24 West, queuing traffic between Edenville Road and the Gilulis turn off. If you're heading towards Four Ways, do expect delays on the N1 North between Malibongwe Drive and Winnie Mandela Drive. There's also a bit of a hold-up leaving Midrand on the N1 South between Allendale Road and the Baklu interchange.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Things people stress about in traffic. Number 51. Did I use too many emojis in that text? Did I sound too eager? Oh, the mental gymnastics. Well, with the Outsurance pointsman on your route, at least the traffic is one less thing to stress about. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Day 42 in my new kitchen. I'm currently staring at the seamless handle profiles and integrated LED lighting of this masterpiece of modern architecture. My husband thinks I'm making a sandwich, but I'm just running my hands along the porcelain countertops for the 10th time today. I've even started speaking exclusively in a British accent to match the opulence. For a bespoke culinary space, visit Moremi Kitchens today at moremikitchens.co.za.
Need some space in your life? Barron's is giving you the boot. The spacious Volkswagen Polo Sedan 1.6 manual. Room for the family, the shopping, the luggage, and whatever else life throws at you. Right now, drive a demo Polo Sedan 1.6 from just $4,990 per month. Serious space, serious value. But hurry, demo stock is strictly limited. Visit Barron's Woodmead and Barron's Broomer today. Barron's, the Volkswagen people. Financed through Volkswagen Financial Services. T's and C's apply.
Hey Siri. Okay, Alexa. You could ask the internet, or you could ask someone that's helped hundreds of customers take on the very same project. Come to the grand opening of Chamberlain East Rand on 1 September and experience service done differently. Need the right paint? We'll help you choose it. Not sure which drill you need? We'll point you in the right direction. Visit Chamberlain East Rand at 26 Great North Road, Benoni, and come and experience knowledgeable, friendly, reliable service as well as unbelievable opening deals. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Morning team, morning lenders. Say me tea. I just want to say congratulations to Brad Lement. May the good Lord be with him through whatever that he's doing. What he's doing is a good thing. More especially doing things for those who can't afford to be in a city or whatsoever to the nation of South Africa. Congratulations, bro. Keep it up and do the good job. Thanks, man.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing if people are saying nice things about you now, but to have your teachers from high school who remember you when you were really no one coming to say everything that has come true in your life is exactly what they experienced when you were younger, just in terms of kindness and intention. Up next, we speak to Carol Payton, who's the News 24 politics editor, about that DA finance spokesperson. In the meantime, Bongani is 12 years old, goes to Laerskool Fleur, and wants to be a footballer later on. Bongani, do you have a favorite player?
Yes, I do. Neymar.
Of course. Neymar. Of course it would be, the Brazilian. All right, let's see if you can dribble like a Brazilian in the Whiz Quiz. KG, start the clock. How many O's are there in the word bookshop?
Bookshop. 4.
3. What is the name of the largest city in Gauteng?
Pretoria.
Johannesburg. The letters BFF mean best what forever?
Pass.
Friend. What is 30 divided by 3?
10.
Correct. Which is one of Snow White's 7 dwarfs? Skipper or Sleepy?
Skipper.
Sleepy. What kind of animal is a python?
Grey.
A snake. True or false? Banyana captain is Refilwe Jane.
True.
Correct. Give the noun in this sentence. They lost the match.
They lost.
It's match. Which African country is closer to Europe, Morocco or Ghana?
Morocco.
Correct. Spell the word storage.
STORAGE.
Correct. That is in time. A good recovery there for you, Bongani. Good recovery there for you. You walk away with 400 Rand. 4 correct answers. Remember, you must be age 10 to 13 to play the Whiz Quiz. $100 for each correct answer. 10,000 if you can get all 10 in 60 seconds.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
Current events, developing stories,
Tough questions.
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
All right, let's bring you up to speed with this story. The Democratic Alliance and Mark Burke. On Tuesday, they defended him. By yesterday, they changed their mind. So Mark Burke is a DA member of Parliament. He's the party's federal finance chairperson and its finance spokesperson. He's part of Parliament's finance structures, overseeing issues involving government spending and institutions, and of course, oversight over, say, for example, the South African Reserve Bank. So you could almost argue he's their Treasurer General in many ways. But here's where the story gets a little interesting. He founded an investment and fintech company called Castello. That's now being investigated by the South African Reserve Bank over possible breaches of foreign exchange control rules. The Reserve Bank has raised concerns about transactions worth around 4 billion rand. Burke says he left the company. He's now pursuing his political career. He has no operational involvement in it. He's done nothing wrong. And he certainly says he has not been found guilty of any wrongdoing. But the Reserve Bank, of course, is one of the institutions Burke oversees in his parliamentary oversight role. Doesn't that mean then a conflict of interest? So for now, Burke will step away from Parliament's finance committees and the party's finance cluster whilst an investigation is ongoing. Carol Payton, as I say, is the politics editor at News 24 and joins us. A pleasure to have you on the show once more. Carol, thank you for your time this morning.
Good morning, Bongani. Thank you for having me.
All right. I don't know if I've outlined the story correctly, but that's how I have it as I understand it. And of course, on Tuesday, the DA came out to bat for Mark Burke, saying there was no reason for him to step aside. Yesterday, they changed their minds.
Yes, exactly. No, you mapped it out very well. That's exactly what happened. And just to put it in context, Mark Burke is quite a brilliant individual. And he's also part very close to the sort of new leadership and that younger group of people who've taken over the DA. So for them to sort of, think about getting him to step aside was difficult. And they couldn't. And so they I think they made the wrong call on the first time they made it.
All right, what exactly is the Reserve Bank investigating with Castello? Because there's been much talk about this figure of 4 billion rand, but if I look at it, and the papers certainly in that judgment, it's a lot more than that, isn't it? Wasn't there an 891 million rand in single discretionary allowances and then an 8.9 billion rand figure in FIA's, the Foreign Investment Allowance? 4 billion, as I understood it, was just what was taken out in 2025.
Yes, and I think, I'm not sure how long they had the scheme operating, but in that's right. And I'm not sure that it operated much before 2025. But 4 billion is the number that had exited, I think, pretty much in total. People had used these, not all of that, those discretionary allowances would necessarily have exited by the time they stopped the scheme. So basically, but you have it right. What they're doing is they're investigating the fact that, individuals have these allowances to take forex overseas. So you're allowed to invest 2 million. It used to be 1 million in offshore investments, and you're allowed to invest in something like a business or something. You're allowed to take 10 million rand, and these are for individuals. And what this company did is it said to individuals, right, take your special allowance, give it to us. We'll send it offshore. We'll buy crypto. Then we'll bring the money back. We'll sell the crypto here. We'll bring the assets back. We sell the crypto here for a higher price, and you get the difference. So the scheme was not illegal in the sense that you can do that thing. Lots of people make money that way. You buy something for a lower price and you sell it for a higher price. And even though you make a little bit of money, but in the end it all mounts up to quite a lot of easy money. And that's what they were doing. The illegal part was that the bank said, no, you can't take individuals' allowances and use them to benefit yourself as the company, which obviously it did get some benefit. And you also can't. The individual who's making these investments has to be present at every step of the transaction sort of trade, and that is also not allowed. So no money was stolen or anything like that.
Sure.
But it was a contravention of these exchange control rules, which are strict.
Well, there are also a number of challenges with this, as I understand it, Carol. Firstly, as you say, this was money that was basically taken out of the country through what individuals are allowed to take out. So it's not as if you or I approached Castello and said, can you do this for us? They would find people, and I understand in some cases people earning as little as 15,000 Rand a month and give them loans of significantly higher amounts, which were unsecured. So if anything were to go pear-shaped, there was never going to be any way for those individuals really to pay back that money should things have gone wrong. But also, of course, they were taking out, as I understand it, foreign currency. In other words, depleting our foreign reserves, because even if they resell it or repatriate those funds back to South Africa, those would then now be denominated in rands.
Exactly. So the bank's concern here is that, this is why we have exchange control, so that our foreign reserves, our foreign currency reserves are not depleted. And Castello was saying, well, what's wrong here? No money was stolen. Money left. Money came back. What's your problem? And the bank was saying, well, our problem is that dollars left and rands came back, and so therefore you were depleting the stocks. And that's obviously, that's the whole purpose of exchange controls, why they have them in the first place.
The court the court took a very dim view of all of this, with a punitive costs order.
Yes. So what happened next? So then the bank just said, we're freezing your money, and they froze a bank account which still had 13 million in it. They froze that bank account, and they said, sorry, while we investigate further, we're freezing your money. What happened next was that Castello then went to court. If you want your funds unblocked, you must go to court. They went to court. They asked for their funds to be unblocked. This is where a lot of the information that we know comes out of that court ruling, and the court ruling was, no, there's a reasonable suspicion here that you've done something wrong, and the bank has got the right to freeze your money while it investigates that reasonable suspicion. It's going to come back. The bank is going to come back at a later stage and say, okay, we finished our investigation. We think you definitely broke the law. We're taking your 13 million. Or it's going to come back and say, we finished our investigation. Yeah, you actually didn't do anything wrong. Here's your 13 million back. So that's how this thing is actually going to unfold.
I mean, the DA response we spoke about, because as I said in my introduction, Burke says, but he's not involved in the daily operations. He resigned his previous role. He hasn't done anything wrong. But there was that U-turn through what you might call a terse statement. But I'm just wondering, the DA says it was out of an abundance of caution. How different is that response and how this has been handled from those who've become accustomed to, say, from the ANC when its people have been found wanting?
Well, I think that's why they reversed it in the end, because I think that was, a response of some of the people in the party. It was public response from some quarters to say, well, no, he hasn't done anything wrong. That's not the point. The point is there's a reasonable suspicion hanging over his head, and therefore you should do the right thing, and he shouldn't be anywhere near these institutions for the time being. And they obviously, wanted to protect him. And I think after the response in the party and the response publicly was that, no, you're behaving in the same way as the ANC here. The ANC says, no matter the reasonable suspicions hanging over our people, and we know there are lots of them still in the cabinet with reasonable suspicions that arose during the Zondo Commission, they're still there, but they've never been charged, and the ANC keeps their rules, the so-called step-aside rule, which is, well, they only move aside when you are charged.
Yeah.
And that is a very similar stance to what the DA was saying. Well, we'll do, if this goes pear-shaped, he'll be removed. But so far we're waiting and seeing.
Well, also there's the conflict of interest, because if he's sitting on committees overseeing the Reserve Bank, which is investigating his own company, well, you can see how that might not look so good. Carol Payton, appreciate your time. News 24 politics editor.
7:02.
Coming up, the big interview.
Up next, we speak to the Standing Committee on Public Accounts, corruption investigations. How is it that the SIU has made nearly 6,000 criminal referrals to the National Prosecuting Authority, but only 10% of those resulted in registered criminal dockets? That to come, of course, after this Eyewitness News brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand.
This is EWN.
Fadil Adams is expected to testify about those controversial IDIC documents, and police are looking for another person allegedly linked to the murder of DJ Waris. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Suspended Member of Parliament Fadil Adams will return to the Madlaga Commission this morning for cross-examination. Adams yesterday repeated allegations of corruption within crime intelligence and further levelled varying accusations against senior police officers. He denied that he acted unlawfully in his handling of classified documents, which he used to lodge criminal complaints against General Dumsani Khumalo and others. Karinda Jagmohan reports.
Fadil Adams began his morning with a reprimand over his excuses for filing an affidavit at the 11th hour.
The information I submitted was wrong. It was untruthful. Yes, Chairperson.
Adams spent the day outlining claims of police corruption and denying General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's allegations that he's criminally connected.
I take offense to it because I, as a nothing, in my view, have done more than he has about crime that he's known about.
His day ended with another reprimand.
You are 100% right, Chief. And
I said to you, I'm not Chief, please.
Oh,
please
Commissioner,
just try to drum that into your head. I'm not Chief.
The Commission may resume with Adams' admittance that he made and kept copies of classified documents he claimed were slipped under his door 2 years ago. Karinda Jagmohan, Eyewitness News.
Chairperson of Parliament's Impeachment Committee, Makashule Gana, says he would rather err on the side of caution than face another legal challenge over President Cyril Ramaphosa's latest objection to its choice of an evidence leader for the Section 89 inquiry. Ramaphosa yesterday scuppered plans by the committee to finalize the appointment of Durban advocate Thandazani Madonsela to lead evidence in the inquiry, saying he believed Madonsela is conflicted. But opposition parties say this is another tactic by Ramaphosa to delay facing accountability for the $500,000 stored and then stolen from his Palapala farm in 2020. Lindsay Dentlinker has more.
Opposition parties, including the MK, EFF and ATM, strongly objected to the suggestion that the impeachment committee take legal advice on the president's objections to the appointment of advocate Thandazani Madonsela. ATM MP Vuyuzungula initiated the impeachment process against Ramaphosa.
We're facing a problem of a president that does not want to be held accountable in terms of Section 89 of the Constitution. That is a real crisis here.
But committee chairperson Makashule Gana says the committee should avoid legal challenges of its decisions.
We will be failing in our responsibility as members of parliament, as members of this committee, if we do not fully apply our mind to this. We have to take a step back from the politics of the matter.
ANC MPs came out in defence of Ramaphosa, saying his objections were not a delaying tactic, rather him exercising his right to a fair process. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Police are searching for a woman believed to be the girlfriend of the second accused in the murder case of Warren Stock, known as DJ Waris. Officers yesterday released Lengiwe Buthelez's photograph alleging she was an instigator in the murder. Her alleged boyfriend, Victor Majola, is accused of orchestrating the assassination. Majola made another appearance in the Johannesburg High Court yesterday, but his case was postponed for him to get legal representation. Stock was shot last year outside a Johannesburg building. Demakatsulish Leshuro reports.
Police have released an identikit of Hlengiwe Buthelezi after a J50 warrant of arrest was issued by the police's Serious and Violent Crimes Unit. At the time of Victor Majola's bail application, the investigating officer told the court that the warrant's details were found, including his address and other personal information, in Majola's cell phone. Majola allegedly received that information from his girlfriend known as Hlengiwe, against whom Stock had applied for a protection order prior to his death. According to the investigating officer at the time, Hlengiwe was part of an informal committee illegally collecting rent from residents of the hijacked building. She's also allegedly the one who provided the DJ's pictures to the man who now stands accused of orchestrating the murder. Dimakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News.
And at least 6 people have been killed in Russian attacks in Ukraine's capital and its surrounding region overnight. The Kyiv's mayor says that the missiles struck residential areas and warehouses, wounding more than 20 people. Both Russia and Ukraine have ramped up attacks in recent months, with Moscow increasing its long-range strikes on towns and cities across Ukraine. While Kyiv has faced near-nightly attacks, Ukraine has also escalated its retaliatory strikes on Russia in recent months, partly to pressure Moscow to the negotiating table after nearly 4.5 years of war. Gold is trading at $4,495.58 an ounce. The rand is at 16.11 to the dollar, 21.91 to the pound, 18.81 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $91.99 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays in the city of Tshwane along the N1 South towards the Proof Plus interchange. There's also queuing traffic on the R80 East Mabopane Highway between the Hairpin Bend and Eskiam Pahlele Drive.
And in your sport, Mamelodi Sundowns pick up a 2-0 victory over Marimo Gallants in the Betway Premiership. Malcolm Marx under no illusion of how tough it will be for the Springboks against the All Blacks come Saturday at Ellis Park. And Rory McIlroy feels those on the Live Golf will have a tough road back to the PGA Tour.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 30 and 31 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: suspended Member of Parliament Fadil Adams will return to the Madlanga Commission this morning for cross-examination.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
To save money, you'll wait for the off-peak season to book that holiday. So why not spend 10 minutes getting an Outsurance car insurance quote like 37-year-old Lerato, who saves
$5.99. Outsurance, they are the best.
That's a whopping 599 Rand saving on Lerato's 2026 Kia Sonet. Do it now. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance saves 43-year-old Ilana an unbelievable 349 Rand on her 2022 Suzuki Jimny.
Yes, 349 Rand. And I dropped my previous insurer.
If you don't save, ask for 500 Rand cash. Or 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you have nothing to lose with Outsurance. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Licensed insured FSP. TCs and information online.
702 proudly presents the Dina Letty stage at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz 2026.
We're gonna have some fun. You guys ready?
This is Jazz Reignited.
Jazz.
Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.
You're listening to 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa, brought to you by BCX, technology that helps organizations move forward.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Again, I ask a very simple question. For those who voted for the National Coloured Congress, I wonder what they make of their leader now, the suspended Member of Parliament, Fadil Adams, I beg your pardon, I keep calling him Abrams for some reason. Fadil Adams, who told the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry yesterday a number of perkies. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. They were absolute perkies. And then he had to retract and concede that some of his statements previously had been untrue. There was even that question of a missing docket, where Fadil Adams, of course, was questioned over the timeline, right? The commission presented an investigation diary entry showing that on the 29th of October 2024, a docket was still being registered when he had claimed that it was already missing. Hey, have a listen. Who is this guy?
You're saying between 2:30 and 8 o'clock, you were told that the docket was missing.
It was definitely before 8 o'clock, ma'am.
Okay, but you can see here that the docket was still being registered. They were saying after telephonic conversation, the investigating officer suggested to change the charge to defeating the ends of justice for the docket to be registered.
I see that. I can't explain this. I think the best person to explain when the docket went missing would be Peter Jacobs, General Peter Jacobs. I understand what you're saying 100%, that at 8:05 they were still working on the docket. That is what this is, and I mean it's an official document. Fact of the matter is it was definitely before 8 o'clock. I'm not going to tell you it was 9 o'clock. It was definitely before 8 o'clock.
No, but he's not, General Jacobs can't be the best person to explain that. It would have to be General Lincoln who told you that the dockets had gone missing. What would General Jacobs have to do with this?
General Jacobs is the one that they found the dockets within Pretoria.
And do you then call the police station to find out whether your docket is in fact missing?
I wouldn't call the police station. I call the provincial commissioner. I said to him, General Patikile, I've been told my dockets have been taken. And I was told that we will look into it.
So he didn't verify this information. Some tough questioning there by Advocate Lee Siegels Ngube, one of the evidence leaders.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
7:12, things you need to know at this hour today. The British comedian and writer David Williams, who was a judge on Britain's Got Talent alongside Simon Cowell, was born on this day in 1971, so he's 55 today. He's been featured in the movie Murder Mystery alongside Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston, and is, of course, a famed children's books writer. And it's also, according to the BBC, reported that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, or the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, as they are officially known, intend to go back to the UK, relocating from the US later this month. It's understood they'll be living in a private non-royal residence outside London. The couple's children, Prince Archie and Prince Lilibet, are set to enroll at British schools in September. Prince Charles was told of the move on Sunday. There are no current plans for either Prince Harry or Meghan to resume their roles as working royals. It's an incredible family, that, hey? Imagine you were told your son is coming back into the country. Do you love radio? Why do you love radio? What do you love about radio? Today is National Radio Day, meant to recognize the great invention of radio, celebrate the news, information, music, and stories carried through the airwaves. And then, of course, this Meta investigation. A former Facebook engineering director and quite a critic of the Meta platforms has accused the company of ignoring research on the harmful nature that its platforms can cause children and teenagers. Remember, there's a big investigation in the US about whether or not the algorithms are designed deliberately to make children addicted to the platforms. And the MTV Video Music Awards have dropped Best Afrobeats as a category from their 2026 nominations, following 2 consecutive wins by South African superstar Tyler. Her wins, of course, caused controversy over whether or not she should have been nominated in the categories in the first place. The MTV Video Music Awards have not clarified the reason they have removed the category as yet.
702. Up next,
The Big Interview.
EWN Traffic.
All right, up next, we speak to Scopa Chair Songezo Zibi. Why are criminal referrals to the NPA not becoming dockets? Up next. In the meantime, let's catch up at the roads. 14 after 7, the slow traffic on the N12 West, Amo.
Yes, Bongani, this is between Edenville Road and the Gilulis interchange. The R24 West is also backed up as a result of the peak time delays. If you are traveling towards the Baklu turnoff coming out of Midrand, do expect delays on the N1 South between Allendale Road and the Baklu interchange. That's due to roadworks. Unfortunately, Pretoria Road is also heavily backed up, so you can't use that as an alternative. Please try to use the R55 through Sunning Hill, and then traveling on the N1 North towards Fourways, queuing traffic between Malibongwe Drive and Winnie Mandela Drive. Speaking of Fourways, we've got delays as well between Witkoppen Road and the N1 exit. We'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
All right, on to this now. When a corruption investigation uncovers possible wrongdoing, you'd expect there to be a clear road. Investigate, prosecute, convict where the evidence supports it, and if you can, even recover the money. But this week, the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Public Accounts exposed just how difficult that journey has become. The Special Investigating Unit, the Hawks, and the National Prosecuting Authority were called before Parliament to account for what happens to corruption cases once they are referred for criminal investigation. The numbers tell a particular story. So since 2011, we understand, the SIU has made nearly 6,000 criminal referrals to the NPA, but only 10% of those have resulted in registered criminal dockets. Of course, the NPA says sometimes several referrals can be consolidated into a single case, so that's the little caveat there. But then there are many cases that are withdrawn or not prosecuted, or at least remain under investigation for long periods. Scopa also heard the agencies don't have a fully integrated system for tracking cases from referral through to prosecution and asset recovery. And the Hawks have a major capacity problem. Only about 2,600 odd of more than 5,000 posts filled. So the problem is a lot more than simply identifying corruption. How do we make sure the system works and to make sure that accountability is what we get? The chair of SCOPA, the Standing Committee on Public Accounts, is Songezo Zibi, and he joins us now. Always a pleasure to have you on the show, and thank you for your time.
Good morning, Bongani, and thank you very much for having me.
All right, so Tuesday's briefing gave SCOPA, I would say, a fairly detailed look at where the gaps are in the criminal justice system. And it seems at times the left hand, not that it doesn't know, but it certainly isn't coordinated with the right hand.
Yes, Bongani, I think there's some major gaps in the system. The first is a peculiarity in the SIU Act, where the cases are referred to the NPA. Now, that's a legacy issue because the Scorpions used to be in the NPA, but the Act was never changed. So they get sent to the NPA, which then routes those cases to the Hawks. The Hawks themselves are underfunded and have got about half the staff that they need, both investigators and support staff within the Hawks, where they lack the critical skills they need to investigate financial crimes, which often are quite complex. So those are some of the reasons why you are not seeing the outcome. What we try to do in this reporting cycle is to try and get the three organizations to work together to produce a consolidated report, because there used to be confusion between the number of referrals and the number of cases eventually registered. They always get converted into a single docket. So if there are 10 people referred from a single institution, that usually results in one docket. So the number to look at is that 500 and some odd dockets out of all of those cases. Shockingly, only 91 convictions. And that's what we're unhappy about.
But also, I mean, you and I have spoken about this before when it came to the Road Accident Fund in terms of the delays in getting matters to some kind of finality. I mean, the idea that, for example, 300 million rand is questioned around the 2013 funeral of Nelson Mandela, and that even with things not being clear, what has now emerged is that might now only be heard next year.
Yes, I mean, particularly with the Eastern Cape reporting, there appeared to be an accuracy problem, I have to say, because For instance, in the report, the Nelson Mandela funeral case was listed as not prosecutable. Now, this is patently untrue. I know some of the people that are currently on trial by name, which brings into question the accuracy of the entire accounting from the Eastern Cape. But that said, in other provinces as well, KZN had an unusually high number of cases where the prosecutor decided the case is not prosecutable. The information that we've requested will begin to peel back the veil, Bongani, on why it is that we get that result. Is it investigating officers who don't investigate properly, or is it a prosecutor who is convinced one way or another to decide that the case is not prosecutable, or is it both? It's very likely that there is an interference in that respect.
I was going to say, or it is that some prosecutors can make cases go away.
No, that's the point I'm making, Bongani, to say that the prosecutor and the police officer are working together to make sure that the case goes away. In other words, they have been induced financially or by other means to make sure that the case goes away.
I mentioned in my introduction that perhaps one of the big flags is the absence of a tracking system that makes sure that from that SIU referral, it goes all the way through the investigation process, as you say, the prosecution, and even in some cases where assets may be recovered.
Yes, and not just in the case of the SIU cases, in the case of state capture and other cases as well. There is a case that we discussed towards the end of the hearing, which is the Prasa Suifambo case, if you remember, the toll train case. Now, some years ago, the Hawks said they were 95% done with the case. On Tuesday, they told us that they've only now started hiring a forensic investigation firm. That scandal broke in 2014. I was still a journalist. I was at Business Day. It's 12 years later. They haven't yet secured a forensic investigator. And I told them, Bongani, it's clear that that case will never see court. And we need to understand why. So yesterday, the committee met, and we have decided to approach the Police Portfolio Committee and the Justice Portfolio Committee to investigate specifically why these critical cases are taking so long. And if they agree, we might have a structured parliamentary inquiry into that question.
Because in many cases, people will almost present themselves as having been cleared in these matters because they've dragged out for so long, and they'll say, but I was never found guilty of anything.
No, absolutely. We know because some of these contracts have been set aside by a court, specifically because there were irregularities. It is insane that so many years later the cases have gone nowhere, and we need to understand who failed and why did that failure occur, and why was it not recognized a lot earlier, because it can't be that cases are just rotting in a drawer somewhere and nobody high up in office is asking questions about why it's taking so long.
I mean, and we've known about some of these cases. You mentioned state capture, but we could also talk about some of the COVID PPE cases and scandals. The Zondo Commission made specific referrals for at least further investigation, if not criminal proceedings. And some of those people whose names were listed are sitting pretty, even in cabinet positions in one or two instances.
Yes, Bongani, that is a distressing thing because, people are presumed innocent unless found guilty in a court of law. It appears that what the system produces is a situation where nobody ever gets to present themselves in court. Yes, substantively. And that is very distressing for the committee and for South Africans. And that is why this time we won't just receive a report and lament. We will, one way or another, end up with a joint inquiry by the committees in Parliament.
I mean, if you could map the way forward, say we're speaking again 6 months from now, what kind of measurable change would you want to see and be able to point to?
So, Bongani, a couple of things need to happen. The first is that it's important that there is new and capable leadership at the DPCI, at the Hawks, and at IDEC. And that's not to disparage anybody who is already there. Some people are trying very hard. But we have not had a head of the Hawks since General Libya left a long time ago. I am not certain why nobody has been appointed to that role. That is the first thing. The second thing, in this budgeting cycle, I think the Hawks need a significant cash injection. We can't have it otherwise. The third thing that should happen is that the salary scales of investigators at the Hawks need to be sufficiently competitive. A person who works at the Hawks as a financial investigator will get paid 2 to 3 times at the SIU. Now, that means every time someone who's at the Hawks gets a job offer elsewhere, it most certainly will be something the Hawks cannot counter offer. And they leave a case they've been working on for 2 years, and somebody else has to start from scratch and talk to witnesses again, who eventually get irritated and don't want to speak anymore. So the problems are systemic, but they can be resolved. They need the ministers, and we will call them to Parliament, the ministers concerned of the 2 departments, the finance minister, and for Parliament to make the allocations that are required to finance the fight against corruption.
I mean, ultimately, it's also to do with the change in the political landscape, because as you are outlining some of these gaps, it's also clear to see how it may have been convenient, perhaps, for certain individuals for all this to play out in the way that it has been.
I take South Africans back to 2007 when a decision was taken to do away with the Scorpions. One of the things that was taken away were the competitive salary scales that the Scorpions were able to offer. People were put on police salaries, and that is why we're here. That was a deliberate decision whose effect was known at the time, and some of the people that were party to that decision are some of the most implicated people in corruption.
Well, there you have it.
So you could see why they did it.
Yeah, there you have it, because, of course, they tried to denude these law enforcement organizations of their ability to deal with these issues. Sanga Zozibi, we look forward to what comes out of not only the report, but the processes that will follow. The chairperson of SCOPA there, the Standing Committee on Public Accounts.
EWN Business.
27 after 7, Mateo. Inflation reprieve for consumers. It's down from what we heard in June, and this despite the oil prices.
Yeah, inflation fell to 4.3% in July, down from 5% in June. This is the first decline in 5 months, bringing some relief to consumers. The slowdown was mainly driven by lower food and fuel prices and smaller municipal tariff increases. Food inflation hit a 16-year low, falling to 0.9%. The lower rate for food and non-alcoholic beverages in July 2026 was mainly due to a drop in cereal and meat prices. Most notably, maize was down 3%, macaroni down 0.7%, while white bread was also down 0.6%. Annual meat inflation also slowing to 1.5% from 5.1% in June. Of course, that elevated price had been pushed up by the foot and mouth disease. Municipal tariff increases were also generally lower than in 2025. Electricity rose by just 8.1% compared to the 10.4% last year, while water and refuse charges also increased by a lesser amount. Now, fuel prices also fell in July, with petrol down 7.1% and diesel down 11.7%, although that situation is still quite sketchy as that battle over the Strait of Hormuz continues.
DRD Gold recording great earnings.
Yeah, DRD Gold reporting a strong set of financial results. The miner reporting free cash flow jumping 85% to 2.3 billion rand. The miner ending the year with a 2.8 billion rand in cash and no debt to report, while it declared a dividend of 1.20 rand per share. The company says more investments in output expected to support higher production and cash flow in the years to come.
Your indicators?
Well, the JSE had a bit of a rebound yesterday, up more than 2,000 points. Industrials were healthy. Banking stocks in the green, while mining shares were up more than 6%. Good day for DRD Gold. They were up 12%. Implats, they were up 9%. Anglo Gold up 8%, while Goldfields was up 6%. Some losses, though, for Italtile. They were down 3.5%. British American Tobacco down 2%. Pick and Pay reeling down 2% yesterday, with AB InBev catching some losses as well. The rand still healthy this morning, 16 rand 10 cents against the US dollar, 18 rand 80 against the euro, and 21 rand 92 cents against the British pound. Price of gold down 0.5% at $4,490 an ounce, while platinum is in the red at $1,813. Brent crude at $91.83 a barrel. More business after 8.
Straight to the news desk we go. Swiss Zulu, what do you have at this hour?
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. The head of South Africa's organised crime task team, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, wants officials in the criminal justice system to be scrutinised in a case they are also members of criminal gangs. Mkhwanazi says there's a need to protect the police and correctional services and the judiciary. He told the Parliamentary Summit on Gangs and Violent Crime yesterday that the country won't win the war against gangs without major reforms in the system. Babalondenza reports.
Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi was one of the speakers at the Gang Summit hosted by Parliament to try find solutions to fight the scourge of gang violence. Mkhwanazi told the summit that the country must find a strategy to target all gangs, including foreign gangs that are found mostly in affluent areas. He says correctional facilities are also breeding grounds for gang activity. Mkhwanazi says it will be hard to solve the gang problem while law enforcement is infiltrated.
We need to look at the officer that we employ in these law enforcement agencies that we have. Are we employing, are we recruiting a gangster? We have generals perhaps that are currently in the police that grew up as members of the gangs until they joined the police, and then you trust that the generals are going to come with a solution, and yet they are members of the gangs themselves.
The summit also heard from crime victims and community organizations that called for more resources in the fight against gang violence, especially in the Cape Town metro. Babalondenza, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
A campaign to oppose the City of Cape Town's plan to build a massive wall along the N2 highway has been launched. The metro
on the N2 and less about the safety of the people who are actually going to be living next to the wall.
City Maco member for Urban Mobility Rob Quintus says the project remains in the early planning phase and a number of technical, statutory and governance processes are still underway. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
The Higher Education Department says an urgent plan is needed for the academic program to resume at the Cape Peninsula University of Technology. Minister Putimana Mela has intervened following days of protest over the institution's plan to introduce a 7,000 rand upfront registration payment next year. This has since been withdrawn. The minister's spokesperson, Matsepo Sidat, says the department cannot allow the impasse to become a permanent disruption to the academic program.
The immediate priority is to bring the parties around the table to establish the facts and find a way forward that allows the academic program to resume. Students have a right to raise legitimate concerns about their access to higher education.
And beauty queen Chidima Adechina has reminded the public that she is South African born. The former Miss South Africa contestant appeared in the Cape Town Regional Court yesterday. She has been ordered to remain at the same address in the country and report regularly to an immigration officer as the Home Affairs Department seeks to deport her. Adechina spoke outside court yesterday. Camray Clark was there.
Beauty queen Chidima Adechina says she believes she's being targeted to make an example of her. Adechina addressed the media after the Cape Town Regional Court decided not to deliver a decision pending a High Court ruling she launched into the decision to deport her. Adechina made the comments inside the court, hidden from protesters waiting outside to tell her to leave the country. She says the public should be reminded that she was not born in Nigeria.
And I remind everyone that I was born in South Africa. I believe that I have been treated unfairly.
She will return to court in February next year. Camray Clark, Eyewitness News.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 30 and 31 degrees.
And in the traffic in Winchester Hills, we've got an accident. It happened on the N12 West right after Klip Rivier Drive. It's causing heavy delays. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North between the Yelands Interchange and Modderfontein Road due to peak time delays.
The top story this hour, the head of South Africa's Organised Crime Task Team, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, wants officials in the criminal justice system to be scrutinized in case they are also members of criminal gangs.
Local government elections aren't just about municipalities and councillors. They're about people like you and the park where your children play, the streetlights that guide you to the bus stop, the neighborhood where you want to feel safe. The truth is, what happens in the council chamber doesn't stay there. It finds its way into the lives of ordinary people like you. So in the run-up to the local government elections, 702, Cape Talk and EWN will be where your concerns become the conversation, your community becomes the story, and your voice matters, because this is more than local. It's personal. Follow every moment of the local government election on 702, Cape Talk and EWN.co.za. Download the EWN app.
This week on The Masked Singer South Africa, the rules stay flipped. There are no face-off and no head-to-head battles. It's every mask for themselves as Leopard, Chopsticks, Mosquito, Sporty and King Pie all return to the stage for 5 solo performances. And the mystery gets personal because friends, family, partners, colleagues all step in to help South Africa crack the clues. But will the extra help finally get the detectives closer to the truth or send them down the wrong road? Ibiri. Catch a brand new episode of The Masked Singer South Africa this Saturday at 7 p.m. on SABC2. The repeats are on Thursday night at 9 p.m. on SABC1, Friday at 1:30 p.m. on SABC2.
The Festival of Motoring, powered by Westbank, returns to the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit from 28th to 30 August. Experience thrilling track drives, supercars, drifting, 4x4 adventures, and the very latest in automotive innovation. Book your tickets now on Howler. The Festival of Motoring, where legacy meets innovation.
Happiness starts in the garden. It starts with the first herbs you pick for tonight's dinner, the color that welcomes you home after a long day, and the simple joy of watching something you planted begin to grow. Enjoy 25% off all seedling 6-packs and herbs at Stodels, Bryanston and Ferndale. Plus, compost 30 DM, 4 bags for R100. Visit Stodels Garden Centre before 23 August. Stodels, create happiness.
As a graduate professional, you know success takes time, discipline, and smart decisions. Retirement is no different. Years of saving and investing help build your wealth so it can support the retirement you deserve. Join us at the annual PPS Retirement Summit on 19 September and gain insights to grow and preserve your long-term wealth.
Because consistent contributions and protecting what you've built all add up. Visit pps.coza/retirement summit now. PPS, success is better shared. PPS is a licensed life insurer controlling company and authorized FSP.
702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa is brought to you by BCX. Built on trusted telecom business connectivity. Powered by cloud, strengthened by security, enabled by AI.
Morning, Bongani team. Happy Radio Day. Thank you so much for the great show. I'm a little famous at work even because you play my VNs. It's Charlotte in Rutherford. I just want to say it's amazing to hear that the parliamentary portfolio committees are hard at work. I mean, to hear that matters have been taken to the Justice Portfolio Committee and the Police Portfolio Committee, it means they are hard at work. They are closing different gaps to investigate why these matters have not been attended to accordingly. That's wonderful to see. Thank you.
Good morning, 702.
You know, Bongani, ever since they disbanded the Scorpions, the Hawks are not doing it, man. They're not doing it. Because the Scorpions, when you were wanted by the Scorpions, you knew that your day will come. But since then, no. Hey, what's happening now with the Hawks? It's not it.
Morning, Bongani. I think maybe this is why people end up taking law unto themselves because of this court delaying thing. It's number 2.
Yeah, I mean, take your pick, right? State capture, the PPE scandals. The Nelson Mandela funeral was in 2013. 300 million rand is at question. The Prasa stories with the trains, that was 2014. And these are cases that remain lingering. And it is absolutely true. The Scorpions, of course, aggressively targeted senior political figures. It was because of them that the former police commissioner, Jackie Silebi, ended up behind bars. It was because of them that we saw Jacob Zuma facing the music. And that's exactly why they were disbanded, was it not? So that high-ranking politicians could get away, frankly, with murder in some cases. And here we are. We've got all these situations where people can say, but I did nothing wrong. No court of law has found me guilty. I'm innocent until proven guilty, and no court has found me guilty, and therefore life carries on.
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance, a chance for you to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. First, 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then a little later, 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask Outsurance for 500 Rand. Let's go to Vuyani in Pretoria. Vuyani, what's the answer for today, please?
Hi, Bongani. The answer is 55.
Oh, I like that answer, Vuyani. And tell me, have you got yourself a quote from Outsurance?
Yes, I do.
Your biscuit, 1,000 Rand is coming your way. All thanks to Outsurance and 702. Vuyani, thank you for that answer. All right, if it is 55, then what's the question? Call us if you know on 011 8830 702.
EWN Sport.
All right, let's catch up with sports news. Cindy Paluta out for the rest of the week and a little bit of next week. So we will be in the delightful company of Anthony Teixeira. Welcome back, my friend. Sundowns doing the business.
They are indeed doing the business, and they've managed to keep pace with the Soweto Giants in collecting 7 points from their opening 3 matches of the Betway Premiership. Last night it was a 2-0 victory over winless and bottom of the table Marimo Gallants. Goals midway through either half from Malibongwe Koza and Cassius Malula, guiding them to a first half win. They've managed, head coach Miguel Cardozo spoke on the return of Mailula, who's found the back of the nets in 3 of their 4 games so far this term.
He's just playing the football he has to play. Cassius is a stated player. Everybody knows the quality that he has. Obviously that being happy makes things more fluid. He's a very happy player in the moment by being with us. We are very happy also to have him. And when you are happy, usually things flow towards you. You know, the energy comes towards the people that are open-hearted.
We're 2 days out from the first test of the rugby's greatest rivalry between the Springboks and the All Blacks at Ellis Park. World Rugby Player of the Year Malcolm Marx made his debut for the World Champs against the New Zealanders and is under no illusion of how grueling the encounter between the top 2 teams in the world can be.
I wouldn't say more intense, but we've always said we treat each test match the same. We know the magnitude of what this series is, and we know how big this weekend's game is going to be, and obviously we're trying to prepare accordingly.
In tennis, women's world number 1 Arina Sabalenka out of the Cincinnati Open following a 7-6, 6-4 loss to world number 35 Sarah Bejlek. Here's the winner.
I lost my words right now. Yeah, it feels incredible. I'm super happy. I don't have any words. I just was playing what I was feeling. I wasn't really thinking what I felt I play. And that was the key. I was trying to not be nervous and just play, and that's it.
Meanwhile, American duo Coco Gauff and Madison Keys advanced to the quarterfinals with straight set victories. And in golf, Rory McIlroy feels it could be a tough road back to the PGA Tour for those players currently with Live Golf. There's growing uncertainty surrounding the breakaway league after the Saudi Arabia withdrew financial backing and next week's team championship was cancelled. McIlroy saying it didn't bring much value.
I feel like I've kept my position consistent that Live has never been a good thing for the game. This is the best platform for the top professional golfers in the world. Yeah, were there some things at the start of Live that the PGA Tour could have done better? Sure, but I think surely that just warranted a conversation instead of blowing the entire professional game up and doing something else.
Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
It's 7:45. Let's catch up with the roads. You were telling us about issues in Winchester, Amo.
That's correct, Bongani. In Winchester, there's an accident reported right along the N12 West. It happened right after Clip Referred Drive. It's causing heavy delays. Please be on the lookout for that one. Then if you're traveling on the M2 West, queuing traffic between Heidelberg Road and the Crown turnoff. That's due to peak time delays there. There's also peak time pressure piling up along the N1 North between Malibongo Drive and Winnie Mandela Drive. If you are traveling on the N3 North, do expect delays between the Yellands Interchange and Morafontein Road. That's due to peak time delays as well as roadworks taking place between these 2 points. And then, of course, if you are heading towards Sandton, delays on the M1 South between the Baklu Interchange and Marlborough Drive. If you are traveling in the Rivonia area, do expect delays along Rivonia Road. An accident reported right near 10th Avenue causing delays as you come out of the N1 exit. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 South just as you come out of Midrand towards the Baklu turn off. Delays from Annandale Road due to roadworks. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance. Please tell me, what's the question? If the answer is 55. Let's go to Aisha in Centurion. Aisha, what's the question?
The question is, how old does David Williams turn today, who is a judge on Britain's Got Talent, children's book writer, as well as a British comedian?
Yes, indeed. You've covered all your bases there. You forgot Little Britain, Aisha.
Oh, yes.
You forgot Little Britain. That one. Computer says no. I can't give you this money. Huh? Computer says no. No, I'm joking. Aisha, congratulations. Well done. Of course, David Williams, the author, comedian, television presenter, talent show judge, and so much more, turns 55 today. I want you to listen now to this conversation he had on the Graham Norton show, where he was speaking about children criticizing his books, because one of the things he's done, as I say, he has written a number of books, including The Billionaire Boy, and he was talking about how some kids have responded to his work. It's so funny. Have a listen.
And I get a lot of letters from kids. I had one recently which said, "Dear David, I'm writing to you because you're my second favourite author." My favourite author is J.K. Rowling, but my teacher said she's going to be too busy to reply, so I'm writing to you. I knew someone who knew J.K. Rowling. I thought she might amuse her, sent it to her. And she wrote back and said, it reminds me of when I went to a school and did a talk, and all the kids were asked to write on a piece of paper what they thought of the talk afterwards. And one of the girls just wrote, "She needs to brush her hair."
I don't know, did you send us this letter, or is it online?
I think it's something I put on Twitter.
Oh, did you put it on Twitter?
My Twitter, yeah, I'm on Twitter.
This letter. Dear David Williams, I love your books, but I got one book wasn't very good. The name of the book was Billionaire Boy. It just wasn't that funny. I didn't really think it was that good, but I love your other books, like Gangster Granny and Demon Descent. I'm getting more of your books. Back to Billionaire Boy. I didn't really think it was funny or that interesting. Thank you. Sincerely, Molly. Ajax.
So I want to know, and that's an interview, by the way, from 2014 when we still called it Twitter, right? So what's the funniest or most brutally honest thing a child has said to you? Because sometimes children don't have those filters. They don't worry about whether it's politically correct. They don't nurse your feelings, that's for sure. What's the most brutally honest thing a child, your child perhaps, has said to you, Amo?
Mama, why is your tummy so big?
I'm hoping you were pregnant. Because that would be absolutely awful. Our producer, Siamtanda Matiso, has come up with this compilation of hilarious but brutally honest moments between children and their parents.
You look like you're starting to get pregnant, are you?
No. Hey, babe. Would you still love me if I was fat?
Yeah, of course. But Mom, you are fat.
Dad,
What?
have I ever told you that I love your cooking?
No.
So why do you keep cooking for me?
Are you a good girl or a bad girl?
Bad girl.
Girl.
Mix.
I miss my meal.
No, you don't. Your man's gone.
Send us a WhatsApp voice note on 072-702-1702. What are those brutally honest things your kids have said to you?
To save money, you stock up on 2-for-1 vitamin specials at the pharmacy. So why not spend 10 minutes getting an OUTsurance car insurance quote like 48-year-old Adam, who saves
1,803 Rand. Big drop. It's worth going to OUTsurance.
That's an awesome 1,803 Rand saving on Adam's 2020 Audi Q3. Why wait? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. OUTsurance saves 36-year-old Jill 471 Rand on her 2025 Hyundai i20.
471 Rand. I still can't believe, hey? Get OUTsurance extra pampering money.
Enjoy benefits like panic assistance that sends the nearest medical or armed response unit to you wherever you are. Get a quote to switch and save with OUTsurance today. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Licensed insured FSP. TCs and information online. Limits apply.
As a graduate professional, you know success takes time, discipline, and smart decisions. Retirement is no different. Years of saving and investing help build your wealth so it can support the retirement you deserve. Join us at the annual PPS Retirement Summit on 19 September and gain insights to grow and preserve your long-term wealth.
Because consistent contributions and protecting what you've built all add up. Visit pps.coza/retirement summit now. PPS, success is better shared. PPS is a licensed life insurer controlling company and authorized FSP.
Struggling with maths or want to improve your grades? Listen up. The Shah Izibalo Maths Institute, SIMI for short, already helps thousands of high school learners, parents and teachers with CAPS-aligned maths workbooks, free teaching videos and online revision sessions. Created by Michael House maths teacher Paul Devet. SIMI is a maths movement already improving grades across South Africa. Go to primemediaplus.com or visit simi.education, proudly supported by Prime Media Cares and Michael House Community Partnership Trust.
Light the fire this weekend with Checkers. We have everything you need to keep the braai and the geus going strong. Get pork braai chops for $58.99 per kilo. Traditional Texas-style burger patties for $139.99 per kilo. And buy a beef club or T-bone steak pack for $139.99 per kilo and get a 250ml pepper sauce free. Valid until 6 September. Only at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
702 is in conversation with Capitec, discussing how South Africans can protect themselves against financial crime.
Scammers use ordinary people's bank accounts because it lets them behind someone else's identity. The money moves through a real person and not through the scammer, which makes it far harder for anyone to trace it back to the scammer. And then from there, the money is often then converted into cryptocurrency, which lets it cross borders instantly with no name attached for anyone to chase it. And by the time the pattern is spotted, it's usually already moved on. So this all happens incredibly quickly, all designed to hide behind ordinary people. And that's why actually one of the clearest warning signs there is. If an investment product asks you to pay money into an individual's personal account rather than a proper registered business, it's definitely a scam.
Slam the scam with Capitec. Capitec is an authorized financial services provider and registered credit provider.
702.
702. What's gone viral?
With Kabazela.
Catch up now with the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Bella.
How are you, my chief?
I see you've already done.
Yeah, we've already done
that story this morning. Yeah,
but I think a lot of people are going to be talking about it. So I might as well ask you. This, of course, for anyone who's just joining us, we played videos from the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry yesterday, where Justice Madlanga was referred to as chief by Fadil Adams. and was having none of it. Perhaps let's just remind our listeners about that moment so that we can also obviously get into a conversation about it. So I know you were planning to play this. They've all gone viral because he did it more than once.
Yeah.
But yesterday, this is what prompted the moment.
Can you please try to summarize it?
I'm finishing, Chief. Justice.
I'm not Chief, please.
Sorry, Buta. It's just that's how we address an elder in Cape Town. Sorry, Commissioner.
Buta, Chief. And then, of course, as I say, Kabazela, he did it again.
No, you are 100% right, Chief. And
I said to you, I'm not Chief, please. Please
Commissioner,
just try to drum that into your head. I'm not Chief.
Sorry, Commissioner.
So, Chief, what is that nickname? And do we call them nicknames or terms of endearment, I suppose?
Yeah.
Something you're sensitive about being called other than your name.
And I mean, you know, the thing is here, okay, so that context there, calling a judge and a commissioner in a very serious situation is uncalled for. You can't do that, right, Chief, when you're in a formal setting like that. But are we a little bit oversensitive when it comes to people, you know, calling us, if it's Chief, Timer, my dear, whatever it is? I mean, like, think about it, and why is it touching you on your studio a little bit? Is it an insecurity you have? What is it linked to that's making you react to something like that? Because in most cases, it's not said because they want to offend you or you know, upset you. It's just maybe a friendly way of greeting you. And then you kind of take it the wrong way.
No.
So
my name is Bongani. My surname is Bingwa. I can reintroduce myself over and over again.
You know, even sometimes when we have guests on air, and it's a professor, an advocate, a doctor, and you refer to them by their title, some people will say, no, please just call me X, you know, call me by my first name, which is fine. So I don't know. It's one I was trying to figure out last night. I don't think I've been called. I mean, I've been called who I look like. People call me who I look like.
Oh, who do you look like?
You know, if I say it now, Bongani, then people are going to...
I won't tell anyone, I promise.
So this most recent weekend, I was at the Momentum, She Owns Her Success. I was doing a correspondent package. And this guy comes up to me, photographer, and he's like, hey, man, hey. And I knew automatically, I knew what he was going to say. He's like, has anyone told you, hey, you look like Wayne Rooney? And I just look at him and I said, no.
I see it.
I've never heard that before. I've never heard that before.
I'd never heard that before, but I see it. I see it totally.
It is the last time I will do viral on your show. And thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Wayne. Listen, very quickly, to sparkle or not to sparkle?
Yeah, this guy and me, we are best friends. Sparkling water is a no-no. Why do you drink sparkling water plain? Let's just take a listen. Yeah? You love it?
It's a thirst quencher.
Oh, well, let's take a listen to this guy and see what he says.
My question is, who is still keeping sparkling water in fashion? Because they shouldn't be selling this anymore. How have I just woken up out of my bed thinking that this is going to be some nice spring still water? I've drank it and it's tasting like HDMI. Who decided to put sparkles inside water and still in fashion? I don't know anybody that drinks this. Anybody. So if you know that you drink sparkling water, please come forward. Please come forward. Come to the front so I could slap the back of your head. Because what are you doing still drinking this? This is meant for flipping fizzy drinks. Sparkles are meant for fizzy drinks and shorts.
I mean, I do not drink sparkling water. If it's there, I will not drink it. I'd rather go thirsty. But what I did discover recently is sparkling water with Oros.
No. Still a
that
sparkling?
Is
sparkling
delicious
for me. Sparkling, and I will defend it. This is the hill I will die on. All right?
No.
Still a sparkling? Let us know your preference and why. And are you a sparkling water hater? And what are those names, those casual nicknames you absolutely hate?
702.
702.
feedback with Siamtanda Matiso.
Hello, dear. Have you got
no,
any feedback?
Bongani, wow.
Dear? You like to call people
You
dear.
know what? That's why I can't even take offense to it. But when it comes to men, especially if you're walking by and they say, hi, my koti, or my size, or my person, no, please don't.
Or also terms of endearment too early on. We're still at the talking stage, and baby, no.
My love.
No.
Honey.
No, absolutely not.
Well, people mention...
Still a sparkling?
I don't like sparkling, and I judge these three people that I work with.
All right, let's go straight
Their
to the
names
news.
are Bongani Bingwa,
Let's go straight to the news. I'm dying.
Khototo, Sifiso Zulu. I think people read the news. There's a problem there. And that's the
What?
feedback.
Oh, is that it?
Yes, I can't wait to hear more on the kids and more on the words of endearment that people just don't like, besides Baba and Mamzo.
All right, thank you, dear.
This is EWN.
A Cape Town municipal official denies planning to kill Fadil Adams, and the court hears how some errors were made in the Usindiso building fire. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Cape Town Safety and Security MMC JP Smith has denied claims that he orchestrated a plan to assassinate National Coloured Congress leader Fadil Adams. Adams told the Matlang Commission yesterday that this was planned last year due to his interference in an alleged municipal tender.
It is according to the Democratic Alliance Councillor Mrs. Deirdre de Vos and Mayoral Council Member for Housing and Deputy Federal Executive Chairperson Mr. Karl Papine that an attempt on my life was made by Alderman JP Smith.
In a statement, Smith has welcomed Adams' testimony, saying the Commission now has insight into how political interests may seek to manipulate policing processes for political gain. Meanwhile, Adams is expected back at the Matlang Commission today for cross-examination, and during his testimony yesterday, Adams repeated allegations of corruption within crime intelligence and further levelled varying accusations against senior police officers. He also denied that he acted unlawfully in his handling of classified documents which he used to lodge criminal complaints against General Dumsani Khumalo and others. Karinda Jagmohan reports.
Fadil Adams spent the day outlining claims of police corruption and denying General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's allegations that he's criminally connected.
I take offense to it because I, as a nothing, in my view, have done more than he has about crime that he's known about.
His day ended with another reprimand.
You are 100% right, Chief. And
I said to you, I'm not chief, please.
Oh,
please
Commissioner,
just try to drum that into your head, I'm not chief.
The Commission may resume with Adams' admittance that he made and kept copies of classified documents he claimed were slipped under his door 2 years ago. Karinda Jagmohan, Eyewitness News.
The bail application of suspended EMPD Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi and others is expected to continue this morning in the Brakpan Magistrates Court. The defence has been cross-examining Officer Nomsa Masuku to test the strength of the NPA's case. The investigating officer says the state had evidence linking all 6 suspects in the 2022 murder of businessman Emmanuel Mbenze. Demakatso Leshiro reports.
The state alleges the accused held a meeting before travelling to Emmanuel Mbenze's property following a robbery at the Schneider Electric warehouse in Brakpan, during which armed men stole a large quantity of copper. EMPD, SAPS and security personnel allegedly went to Mbenze's property after linking his truck to the robbery. Through their affidavits, the accused have placed themselves at the property but deny entering the house or participating in his assault. They all maintained they remained outside. Mbenze died from blunt force injuries to the head. Nomsa Masuku told the court accused number 1, Kobus Janse van Rensburg and others failed to intervene while Mbenze was being assaulted. Masuku told the court the sequence of events points to the accused acting together in common purpose in the killing. Timakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News.
The state's first witness in the Usindiso building fire trial has detailed harrowing scenes about the day 76 people died in 2023. Joburg EMS Station Commander Chico Nyati testified in the Johannesburg High Court yesterday. The NPA has been allowed to reopen the case against Thembiso Mdlalose, who's accused of starting the blaze in the hijacked building. Koskona Malingamnisi has the story.
Chico Nyati, who led firefighters at the scene, told the court yesterday how desperate residents jumped from the building while others were thrown out in an attempt to escape the raging flames. Nyati also detailed how the victims' bodies were numbered. He said about 12 of the bodies were charred, but emphasized that numbering and identifying the remains fell under the police's responsibility. The defense questioned him on one specific detail: how one of the bodies was numbered twice.
When the number was allocated, the initial number, where were you?
I was with the team, and then when they put the body down using a blanket, that's where Mr. Mankai and his team approached, took pictures, and allocated that 1-6.
And according to your own testimony, later on, that number was changed. Is that correct?
There was another number on that body. It was not changed.
A new witness is expected to take the stand when proceedings resume on Monday. Or see Kwana Malingamnisi, Eyewitness News.
And 4 people died after being hit by a train in Japan. The incident involved 4 workers and it took place at the Shankunama station north of Tokyo. They were reportedly removing weeds around the train track when they were hit. Japanese railways have one of the best safety records in the world, with fatal accidents extremely rare due to high levels of maintenance and training and use of advanced technology. Gold is trading at $4,481.24 an ounce. The rand is at 16.11 to the dollar, 21.92 to the pound, 18.81 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $91.69 a barrel.
There's been an accident on Bearsnodia Drive. This is in the Cresta area, right near Vincent Road. It's causing heavy delays. There's also queuing traffic reported along the N3 North between the Airlines Interchange and Modderfontein Road.
And in your sport, the Springboks set to announce their squad for the All Blacks test. Football saw a 2-0 victory for Mamelodi Sundowns in the Betway Premiership, but Khaliso Mudau going down injured. And the Hockey World Cup has the South Africans heading out for their final pool matches.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 30 and 31 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: Cape Town Safety and Security MMC JP Smith has denied claims that he orchestrated a plan to assassinate National Coloured Congress leader Fadil Adams.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa, brought to you by BCX. Built on trusted connectivity, powered by cloud, strengthened by security, enabled by AI.
Your community, your concerns, your voice. Follow every moment of the local government elections on 702 Cape Talk and ewn.co.za.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
7 after 8. I mean, the Eyewitness News Bulletin you've just heard from Sfiso Zulu is such a snapshot of what's going on in the country right now and how busy our courts are with matters of national interest to really all citizens. So firstly, the denial by JP Smith, Cape Town Safety and Security MMC, who has obviously refuted what we heard from Fadil Adams yesterday, who told the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry that Smith had orchestrated some plan to try and assassinate him. And on the basis of what we've heard from Adams, I mean, how credible would any claim he makes be, given his inconsistencies and, quite frankly, his lies, right? On the other hand, there's Julius Mkhwanazi, oft mentioned at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Well, his bail application is expected to continue this morning in Brakpan. And whilst we're focused on all of that, there's that small matter of nearly 80 people who died in a fire in 2023. Remember those shacks in the sky? Well, that continues to be a matter explored by the courts. And just those 3 stories, aren't they just a snapshot of of some of the madness actually we are dealing with in the country right now?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
This hour, of course, we'll get the latest on the world view with Adam Gilchrist and one of Africa, never mind just South Africa, but one of Africa's most celebrated guitarists, bringing decades of music, collaboration and storytelling to Braamfontein. We're speaking to Louis Mhlanga, who'll join us ahead of his performance at Jazz at Josie Gold. So that's coming up in this next hour. We want to know from you those brutally honest things children, maybe yours, maybe somebody else's, have said to you. Perhaps everyone around you was too polite. You know, they were nursing your feelings, worried about how you might feel. Muteo, do your children nurse your feelings? I suppose your daughter's probably still a little too young.
Yeah, my daughter's too young. But I mean, kids, are very, very honest.
So what's the most honest thing you've heard?
So I think I was teaching him how to play soccer, and he was like, "You're not very good."
I'm sure kids have responded to your height.
Yes. Some don't say it, but would go literally toe to top, like looking at me and like
measuring you.
This guy must be like, why is he so big? They don't say it, but you see it from their faces.
From their eyes. Amo?
I once walked into a taxi. I used to love having big hair, like braids or extensions. And I had this one that was brown and it had highlights of like blonde. And so I walked into the taxi and I sat in the front seat, and behind me was a kid with a mom. And she said to the mother, "Mama, ho." Meaning this hair looks so spooky. It looks like something is going to jump out and bite.
I think to scare children.
Yeah.
Morning,
Bongani. This is Selma from Rudderpoort. My cousin's daughter's little boy once came and stood in front of me, looked at me closely and said, "Auntie Selma, why are you so old? Looking so old and wrinkled." So I said to him, "Because I am so old and wrinkled." Thanks for a lovely show. Bye.
Hi, Bongani. I recently lost 30 kgs, and my 5-year-old daughter just recently mentioned I was sitting on on a couch, but the couch is quite small. And she told me that I never used to fit on the couch. That shocked me. So I moved from a size 96 kgs to 69. So yeah, that was painful to hear. All right then, bye.
Hi guys, good morning. Oh my goodness. The one that hits the chats is being told that we're fat. We're being told our tummies are too big. Mommy, your tummy is squishy. Mommy, your tummy is this. You are fat, mommy. Yo, listen, that one, I think that's number one. Have a good day, guys.
Mine says to me that, you know what the problem is? You are raising me to be you. And I said, boy, I'm the only man I know. Why can't I raise you to be me? He says, I don't want to be you. You are stuck up. No life.
My son right now, Bongani, and the little one is asking me, the 6-year-old, what kind of a car am I gonna buy? Is it a Porsche or a Toyota? And the 12-year-old, he says to me, I mustn't worry. He knows I cannot afford a car. I can just buy a cheaper car. Don't worry, you can buy a cheaper car.
He understands, right? He understands. Those brutally honest comments you've heard from your kids. Of course, it's David Williams' birthday today, the writer and comedian, an author of a number of children's books. I think we read Gangster Granny with my daughter when she was younger, and even Billionaire Boy. And kids saying, no, we don't think your books are that good. I wrote to you because you're my second favorite writer. I really would have preferred to write to J.K. Rowling, but I know she won't respond, so I'm writing to you. Muteo, the other one Kabazela wants to know, still or sparkling?
Always still for me. I have
Always.
nothing against
Yeah.
Sparkling water. I haven't occasionally, I don't even know why I would pick sparkling, but I have nothing against it. What I don't understand though is people saying sparkling water, they don't like sparkling water because it tastes like electricity, because I'm like,
what does electricity taste like?
This is exactly what I'm saying.
No man, who says that?
One of our team members does, but anyway.
I find that especially when I go through those periods where I'm deciding not to consume any alcohol, it's one of the drinks that gets me through.
Why? Because it's, I don't know.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say sparkling water tastes wonderfully sweet or anything of that sort, but I find it refreshing, and I feel like it quenches my thirst a lot sooner. But I find it just helps me get through the evening, and it's so much easier than
of it.
It's the fizziness, but it's also you're not drinking, copious amounts of cool drinks, of sweet drinks.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It feels like
nice
a safe
alternative.
It feels like a safe option. But one of the things I find quite unbelievable actually is people who now expect you to have sparkling water in your home. Has that not happened to you?
No,
Where
not yet.
you offer someone something to drink and they say, "Oh, please can I have some sparkling water?"
Oh.
That is now a thing. It has happened to me more than once. In fact, yeah. You've come over to the house.
Yeah.
Would you like something to drink? Tea or coffee? No. Sparkling water, please.
And now you buy
So
sparkling.
now you have to buy sparkling water for the visitors. And then tell the kids it's for the visitors.
Good morning, Bongani. With regards to the sparkling water, while I drink it for therapeutic reasons, so it helps me with when I've got lots of acid in the stomach. It helps neutralize that, I've noticed. And also sometimes when my reflux is so bad, I can't burp. So drinking sparkling water would actually encourage me to burp. And it gives a bit of relief. So I only drink it for therapeutic reasons. Other than that, I'm for still water. Thanks. Great show as always. Bye.
Good morning. Good morning to Jono and to the 702 listeners and to the team. Here's what I discovered. I was just reading because I love drinking sparkling water. And I discovered that sparkling water has carbon dioxide. So isn't that the gas that we breathe out of our body? So we're breathing that, but we're taking it on sparkling water. Very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I what do you say to that? There are plants. Don't plants absorb our carbon dioxide? I mean, yeah. Drink or no drink, eh? Drink or no drink. The plants absorb, give us oxygen, right? And absorb the carbon dioxide. We still eat them, don't we? Yeah.
Let's talk.
We're listening.
You know, I think I must put it out there that you do not call a guy who stays in Pretoria chief or boss. You don't do that. You do not do that. It's an insult. So you can call each other chief when you are in Limpopo. You can call each other chief in Eastern Cape. You can call each other boss when you are in Mpumalanga, but not in Pretoria. You are offending people. It's disrespectful to call people chief or boss. And we know where it comes from in Pretoria. It comes from a point where people who are regarded to be dumb, they'll call them boss or chief. So you call boss or chief to people who are dumb.
Good morning, 702 family. Why are we coming up with mama, mommy at work while we've got our colleagues that will use their own name? It's Gert, it's not Abuti Gert. It's Murray. We are not saying us Murray. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Somebody called me mommy and I said, no, you can't be calling me mommy. And he said, no, it's to show respect. Then I mentioned his colleagues that he's actually using their names and not Abuti, not Ausi. And I was like, no, in our culture, please guys, leave culture at home. We are at work. All of us were trying so hard to look young. Have a nice day.
Good morning, Bongani and the 702 lenders. Please don't call me Nana. I hate that. I hate it. Don't call me Nana.
I want to hear from the ladies how they feel when they're called hello Makoti, kunjani Makoti.
Good morning, Bongani. Bongani, my name is Moses. But if you say Moses, Kumulimba Tata Zaku, I just lose it same time and I tell you straight, now and then. that my name is Moses. This Kumulin Batata, Zako and all that, I don't like it.
Good morning, Bongani and the team. It's Voice in Pretoria. Mine, it's gonna be. It has to be when they call you Mutwamudimu. Just like.
Morning, Bongani and 702 Landers. In my defense, I'm one of those people that call people love, love, love. Hi, love. Yes, love, because I forget people's names. And now I realize how people get offended by it, but I'm not going to mention my name.
Hi, Bungles. Just listening to your conversation about chief. That is not a term of endearment. It's patronizing and it's racist. Trust me, white men do not call other white men chief. The only people they call chief is when they're trying to be pally-pally with black men. And Chester Missing's right. You call that the waiter at the Spur, or the petrol attendant, or the beggar at the robot. You say chief. It's just incredibly racist. It's like white people calling me my brother because they're trying to. It's just it's shocking. It's really shocking.
Wow, there's a thought, hey? It's 20 after 8.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Roadworks on the M1 North. Amu, what's going on?
Yes, Bongani, they're causing delays between Glenhove Road and Greyston Drive. About a 15-minute hold up there. Please be on the lookout and do slow down. If you are traveling on the N1 South in the Randbeck area, we've got an accident reported after Malibongo Drive. It's causing about a 15-minute hold up there. Please approach with care. Then if you're heading towards Cresta, please be on the lookout for another accident scene reported on Bearsnodia Drive near Vincent Road, also causing heavy traffic volumes. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen can't help you make awkward elevator small talk, but they can get the traffic flowing smoothly so you get to the office in time to take the stairs. The Outsurance pointsmen are real heroes in green and purple, easing congestion, making our lives easier for almost 21 years. And it's just another way you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Joy of Jazz. The Standard Bank Joy of Jazz returns on September 25 and 26.
Thank you so much.
Join 702 at the Dina Lady stage. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.
Cloud adoption is no longer the differentiator. Business value is. Today's leading organizations need more than technology platforms. They need better visibility, faster decision-making, and the agility to respond to change. BCX connects cloud, cybersecurity, managed services, AI, and trusted telecom business connectivity into one intelligent ecosystem that helps organizations improve operational performance, strengthen resilience, and create measurable business outcomes. BCX. Connected multi-cloud, intelligent business. BCX enables businesses. Visit bcx.co.za.
Now there's nothing like support to boost confidence in business. So how does FNB Speedpoint help?
You get access to the new FNB web store to build your website, sell online and social media. Chicka chicka, you've got a national footprint.
Ah, an all-in-one e-commerce platform. What a boost for business performance.
Get in the payments game with FNB web store and Speedpoint. FNB, help changes everything. First National Bank, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider. T's and C's apply. 702, The World View
with Adam Gilchrist.
Let's catch up with news from elsewhere in the world. Let's start with this emotional wedding, Adam.
Oh, it was quite something last night. Yes, I've seen some pictures of this, of Elia Cohen and his, fiancée until last night, now wife, Ziv Aboud. Now, the point with them is that they were both caught up in the October the 7th attacks by Hamas, pushing 3 years ago now. He was held by Hamas. Ultimately, Elia Cohen held for 505 days, and he finally married his fiancée last night. The last time he saw her, obviously they have been together since, but the last time he saw her, when he was taken away, she was hidden under a pile of bodies. In fact, he'd helped hide her under a pile of bodies. He had also hidden under those bodies, but the gunman found him, dragged him out, shot him in the leg, carted him off for 17 months as a hostage, one of the 250 or so Israeli hostages. He says he didn't want to contemplate marriage until all the hostages were freed. So in due course, in some cases, bodies were returned. Zivabud was fine. She had survived simply by staying still and stumm. Last night, they had their wedding day. And to say it was emotionally charged is an understatement. There was love and resilience, and there were tears and smiles and music, and it was glorious, as weddings should be. But considering what the two of them have been through, it's quite something. And now Elia says they're just looking forward to a blissful life. Well, amen to that in English and Hebrew and several other languages.
Adam, well, amen to a Brazilian oil discovery.
Well, this is the conundrum that faces a lot of people, a lot of world leaders. Some world leaders, not so much, because they don't necessarily have any climate change policies. But in this case, Brazil's president, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, he is very much a phasing out fossil fuels kind of guy. In fact, his government is committed to phasing out fossil fuels. But Brazil's state-run oil company, Petrobras, has discovered an oil find. They don't quite know how big yet, but certainly an oil field of some kind outside of the mouth of the Amazon River. So 175 kilometers, more or less, off the coast of Brazil, heading out from Macapá on the Amazon River. Conservationists are aghast, saying this is an area that is extremely sensitive, that the exploratory drilling that's taking place already is a threat to diversity, to biodiversity, to wildlife, to a national park that's not very far away. If they carry on drilling, what will that mean for the country? Imagine an oil spill in that area would be disastrous, they say. President Lula is running for another 4-year term in elections scheduled for October. So he wants to phase out fossil fuels. But the here and now is like, for a lot of people, we still need oil and gas and coal. And I've got a car out there that needs one of those things. I guess sometimes there is expediency in the short term, even if you have principles in the longer term. But there again, with an election in October, how will that play out?
Now, Adam, as you know, South Africa is a multilingual society. Although we speak English, that is the most commonly spoken language in the country. But for most of us, it's not our first language. So you can forgive our mistakes. But what about those of native English speakers?
I like to think that in South Africa, you can mispronounce things in several languages, which is always fun, isn't it? This is not about getting a word wrong, because I always struggle with the word preliminary, unless I say it like that. This is about just thinking a word is pronounced in a certain way. So, for instance, a lot of people here are saying February instead of February. Arctic instead of Arctic, which is a really odd one. How about mischievous, which is the correct way, as opposed to mischievous, which a lot of people like to say. So this is a study that's basically found that 100% of us mispronounce a word or many, and 85% of us like to correct somebody when they do mispronounce. So in the list, for instance, Worcestershire, Leicestershire, and Gloucestershire, which are 3 place names that always confound Americans. There are honourable mispronunciation mentions for parliament, for nom-nom, and espresso. When was the last time you ordered an espresso at the coffee shop? The top 5 there, very quickly. Gnocchi, not gnocchi. Quinoa, although didn't we all say quinoa for about 10 years? I'm pretty sure I did. Charcuterie, which is French and weird that that's in the list, but people can't handle that. Segway, not seggy. For some reason, people can't handle that word. And the most mispronounced word in English, in England anyway, is acai, as in the acai berry. And I'm going to put my hand up immediately and say, I think I've spent most of my life calling it acai. I kind of prefer acai. It sounds more exotic.
Yeah, I mean, talking of that, we always thought it was a Porsche until somebody told us, no, it's not posh to say Porsche. You've got to say Porsche. Porsche.
Got to put the E on for German. Exactly that. And by the way, a word that doesn't make the list, but is probably very, very often mispronounced, is the word pronunciation.
Right.
Are we all saying pronunciation? Whoops.
I think I'm going to go run in my Nike shoes. Adam? Or is that Nike? Adam Gilchrist with this morning's Worldview.
EWN Business.
28 after 8, food prices dropping, Mateo, as inflation goes down in July.
Yeah, the prices of goods and services fell to 4.3% in July, down from 5% in June. This is the first drop in 5 months, bringing some relief to consumers. The slowdown was mainly driven by lower food and fuel prices and smaller municipal tariff increases. Food inflation hit a 16-year low, falling to 0.9%. The lower rate for food and non-alcoholic beverages in July was mainly due to a drop in cereal and meat prices. Most notably, maize was down 3%, macaroni down 0.7%, while white bread was also lower in July. Annual meat inflation slowed to 1.5% from 5.1% in June. Now, municipal tariff increases were generally lower than in 2025. Electricity rose by 8.1% compared to the higher 10.4% recorded in 2025, while water and refuse charges also increased by a lesser number. Now, fuel prices also fell in July, with petrol down 7.1% and diesel down 11.7%, although there's still a risk it could go up in August given what's happening on the Strait of Hormuz.
Well, Asian markets open.
Yeah, Japan's Nikkei adding 0.5%, while the Topix rose more than 0.5%. The Kospi advancing 6%. SK Hynix, one of the chip makers, enjoying some gains this morning, while the small cap Kosdaq also added more than 2%. In Australia, the S&P ASX 200 was also marginally higher. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index was up 1%, while in mainland China, the CSI 300 was also in the green this morning.
Your indicators?
Well, the Rand at 16 Rand 10 cents this morning against the US dollar, 18 Rand 80 cents against the euro, 21 Rand 91 cents against the British pound. Price of gold is down more than 0.5% at $4,484 an ounce, or platinum is also in the red at $1,808. Brent crude up 2% at $91.86 a barrel. That's your morning business. Stephen Grooters with more this afternoon.
Time now exactly 8:30. Let's go straight to the news desk. Good morning again, Sifiso Zulu.
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. The head of South Africa's Organised Crime Task Team, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, wants officials in the criminal justice system to be scrutinized in case they are also members of criminal gangs. Mkhwanazi says there's a need to protect the police and correctional services and the judiciary. He told the Parliamentary Summit on Gangs and Violent Crime yesterday that the country won't win the war against gangs without major reforms in the system. Babalondenza reports.
Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi was one of the speakers at the Gang Summit hosted by Parliament to try and find solutions to fight the scourge of gang violence. Mkhwanazi told the summit that the country must find a strategy to target all gangs, including foreign gangs that are found mostly in affluent areas. He says correctional facilities are also breeding grounds for gang activity. Mkhwanazi says it will be hard to solve the gang problem while law enforcement is infiltrated.
We need to look at the officer that we employ in these law enforcement agencies that we have. Are we employing, are we recruiting a gangster? We have generals perhaps that are currently in the police that grew up as members of the gangs until they join the police, and then you trust that the generals are going to come with a solution, and yet they are members of the gangs themselves.
The summit also heard from crime victims and community organizations that called for more resources in the fight against gang violence, especially in the Cape Town metro. Babalondenza, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Some CPUT students have criticized the institution's handling of their concerns following protests over its now withdrawn financial recovery plan for next year. Students also demanded for the Vice-Chancellor and the institution's CFO to be removed. They also called for the release of academic transcripts and certificates to all NSFAS funded students. The university says the protests have resulted in damage to infrastructure, including the torching of a building, with losses estimated at more than 1 million rand. Ntutuzelo Nene has more.
CPUT yesterday ordered students to evacuate its residencies in an effort to de-escalate tensions. While some students left voluntarily, others remained on campus. Those who stayed say the university mishandled the situation.
I don't think they handled it well. They instilled a lot of fear in the students.
I think it's very much inappropriate because you can't kick away students in 24 hours.
So they handled very badly. They sort of just sat with us and had us.
Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
Beauty queen Chidima Adechina has reminded the public that she is South African born. The former Miss South Africa contestant appeared in the Cape Town Regional Court yesterday. She's been ordered to remain at the same address in the country and report regularly to an immigration officer as the Home Affairs Department seeks to deport her. Adechina spoke outside court yesterday. Camry Clark has more.
Beauty queen Chidima Adechina says she believes she's being targeted to make an example of her. Adechina addressed the media after the Cape Town Regional Court decided not to deliver a decision pending a High Court ruling she launched into the decision to deport her. Adechina made the comments inside the court, hidden from protesters waiting outside to tell her to leave the country. She says the public should be reminded that she was not born in Nigeria.
And I remind everyone that I was born in South Africa. I believe that I have been treated unfairly.
She will return to court in February next year. Camry Clark, Eyewitness News.
And Australian prosecutors have asked judges to strengthen the prison sentence of the woman dubbed the Mushroom Killer, saying she should never be set free. Erin Peterson was found guilty last year of murdering her husband's parents and an elderly aunt in 2023 by serving them a beef Wellington lunch laced with lethal death cap mushrooms. Peterson was also convicted of the attempted murder of her husband's uncle, who survived the beef and pastry dish after weeks in hospital. A court hearing came to a close today as Peterson seeks to overturn her triple murder conviction while prosecutors demand she stay in jail for life. A fine day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures will peak at highs between 30 and 31 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident on the N1 South right near Malibongwe Drive. It's causing delays. There's also an accident in Kempton Park along the R24 East. It happened near Barbara Road, causing heavy delays.
The top story this hour, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi wants officials in the criminal justice system to be scrutinized in case they are also members of criminal gangs.
To save money, you stock up on 2-for-1 vitamin specials at the pharmacy. So why not spend 10 minutes getting an OutSurance car insurance quote, like 48-year-old Adam, who saves
1,803 Rand. Big drop. It's worth going to OutSurance.
That's an awesome 1,803 Rand saving on Adam's 2020 Audi Q3. Why wait? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. OutSurance saves 36-year-old Jill 471 Rand on her 2025 Hyundai i20.
471 Rand. I still can't believe, hey? Get OutSurance extra pampering money.
Enjoy benefits like panic assistance that sends the nearest medical or armed response unit to you wherever you are. Get a quote to switch and save with OutSurance today. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Licensed insured FSP. TCs and information online. Limits apply.
You hear that? That's the sound of business execution finally visible. No more chasing people and reports. No more disconnected systems. No more guessing if our business is performing or not. iStratGo connects strategy, people, performance, and day-to-day work into one clear software platform, so leaders can see what's working, what's not, and where to focus. Because when execution is visible, everything runs better. Book a demo on istratgo.com. ISTRATGO.com.
You're listening to 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa. Brought to you by BCX. Technology that helps organizations move forward.
Good morning. Talking about sparkling water. Yes, sparkling water is carbonated water. So carbon dioxide is pushed into the water under pressure, and you'll find that carbonated water or sparkling water has a bit of a acidic flavor, and the acidic flavor comes from a lower pH, which is created by carbonic acid, which is created when carbon dioxide is pushed into the water under pressure. And the other gentleman who was worried about the plants releasing the carbon dioxide, well, you'll find when you drink fizzy drinks, of which sparkling water is one of them, you will burp afterwards, and that's the carbon dioxide being released. Have a good day, gents and ladies. Bye-bye.
Hi, Bongani. I think I can explain why people don't like sparkling water, myself included. With normal still water, it tastes like nothing and is committed to it. With sparkling water, it tastes like it's trying to be something, but it doesn't necessarily get it right. So if you're going to be something and have flavor and have body, do it fully and commit to it. Don't do it half-heartedly like the way that sparkling water does.
Hi, Bongani and team. It's like Claire here in Midrand. Yeah, sparkling water. I think I'm with you on that. It's also one of those drinks that get me through those periods when I maybe taking a break from consuming alcohol. But I also enjoy it generally. I love sparkling water. I'll take sparkling water over still water. And if I'm not mistaken, and I think there's some benefits to it related to diabetes. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Good morning, Bongani and the team. This is Twaita, and I drink sparkling water purely for a hangover. It works perfect for a hangover, guys. It's the only reason I'd ever drink sparkling water. Other than that, nah.
Good morning to you, Bongani, and the team. When it comes to sparkling water, you know, when Kawazela said sparkling water and Oros, that is me. That is the hill I am willing to die on. But I do drink sparkling water even without Oros, you know. And when I go out, because I don't drink alcohol, I usually have sparkling water and Red Bull. So I'm a sparkling water girl. Hi! Smangele from Roodepoort.
So, Smangele, I have two thoughts. On the one hand, I think, but adding sugary drinks to sparkling water defeats the purpose, right? But on the other hand, sparkling water and Red Bull, that sounds intriguing. I'm going to try that at least once. Apart from, I mean, I don't know if it helps you with hangovers, but I would like to believe, that's my belief, and I have no scientific basis for saying this, so don't, get upset with me. I do think it helps prevent hangovers. You know, when you are having a bit of a heavy night, if you drink sparkling water between, your drinks, it helps just, I find that it makes sure that the next day I'm not going to have that awful, awful headache. Of course, these are things young Anthony Teixeira knows nothing about.
EWN Sport.
Headaches from a night of overindulgence? Never you. And
No.
Still a sparkling?
Still, 100%. I don't want static in my mouth, so why would I go for sparkling?
I'm done. Get into sport, please. Static in my mouth.
We'll start with the Springboks as we'll have a look at how head coach Rassie Erasmus will resolve some of the selection dilemmas he has for the opening test of rugby's greatest rivalry against the All Blacks. Chief among those is the fitness of Captain Siyakolisi and prop Oxenchair, as well as who gets the nod at fly half between Manny Libok, Sasha Feinberg and Gomezulu, and double World Cup winner Andre Pollard. The squad is set to be announced this afternoon just before 2 p.m. Meanwhile, hooker Malcolm Mark says he's expecting a physical breakdown.
We're working really hard at it. We're obviously doing a lot of analysis and seeing where we can be better from previous games and obviously seeing the threats that they bring in that aspect of the game. So working really hard at the things that we need to improve on and obviously bearing in mind the small things that they do around the breakdown, obviously looking where there's opportunity for us as well.
In football, a 2-0 win for Mamelodi Sundowns over Marimo Gallants in the Betway Premiership. It came at a cost, though, with Kluso Mudau suffering an Achilles tendon injury. However, Miguel Cardozo called it a good night as they broke the record for the most consecutive home victories in the PSL era.
We could have scored more goals because sometimes we expose ourselves, and we should not forget that last year the championship was almost decided by goals. So there was a moment that was brought on the table. So we need to keep the focus on scoring more and more. But most important, today no goals suffered, stability. The team showed beautiful football. I think that it was a good night for sure.
Harry Kane received the European Golden Shoe after a sensational season with Bayern Munich, where he scored 61 goals in his 51 appearances and won a domestic double. He heads into the final year of his contract in Germany, a time which he says has deepened his appreciation of European football and drives him to strive for more, although he downplayed a return to the Premier League at some point.
I try and go into every season to improve and get better. Obviously, last year was amazing in many ways, but I still know there's bits to my game and on the pitch, off the pitch that I can improve, and that's the goal. I'm extremely grateful to receive this, but already every year is a new challenge.
In hockey, South Africa will end their FIFA World Cup pool games today, with both our men's and women's teams having lost their opening 2 games. The men have a tough task of taking on unbeaten Australia, while the women are up against China. And in cricket, England will start the second day at Headingley on 112 for 2 in their first innings, trailing Pakistan by just 59 runs. Captain Joe Root on 37 alongside Jordan Cox, who's there on 34. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
Brush, stroke, paint, color, protect, and admire. From roof paint to exterior textures and interior silk, Warrior Paints has it all. The product range and stylish colors are amazing. And what's more, Warrior Paints has crush prices for incredible savings. Enjoy that good old-fashioned personal service you deserve. For price, quality, variety, and service, Warrior Paints is streets ahead. Warrior Paints. Affordable, lasting luxury.
Running a small business means every rand counts. Thanks to My Way Business Insurance, I save up to 20% on my insurance premiums every month for my buckies and tools of trade. Now, I get to save some extra cash for my business and focus on giving my clients world-class service.
Switch to My Way Business Insurance and save up to 20% on your buckies and tools of trade. Real businesses, real savings. Call us on 0860 646464 for a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. Standard rates and T's and C's apply.
EWN Traffic.
16 minutes before 9 o'clock, let's wrap up the morning's roads. Amo?
Well, Bongani, we've got a couple of accident scenes causing the heaviest delays this morning. Delays on the N1 South between Malibongo Drive and Bearsnodia Drive. That's due to an accident. Another one reported on the N3 North near Modderfontein Road, causing delays from the Kirulis interchange. And if you're heading towards the OR Tambo Airport, expect heavier traffic volumes on the R24 East right as you approach Barbara Road. That's due to an accident there. So please try to use the N12 East and then turn off at the R21 instead. More updates at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The CSIR International Convention Center has over 40 years of experience in hosting international, local, and national business events. This purpose-built venue is set on a tranquil campus in Pretoria East, in the knowledge hub and science diplomacy capital, the city of Tshwane. Host your next business event at a venue where innovation meets experience. Visit csiricc.co.za for more information. The CSIR International Convention Center, where smart minds meet.
Peregrine Capital presents Brian Habana's Count to 100.
In my journey to 100, it started with my first cap, then my second, 10th, 50th, 90th, 99th.
Brian Habana, his 100th international test. You get to 100 one decision at a time. For 28 years, Peregrine Capital has applied that same discipline to turn 1 million rand into 100 million. Peregrine Capital. Invest in performance. An authorized FSP. Past performance non-indicative of future performance. T's and C's apply.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Morning, Bongani. So mine's quite similar, but it isn't my child. It's one of my very close friends' child. She's 8. I'm 38. And she asked me, Tani, when are you going to have children? I said, oh, soon. She said, well, you mustn't wait too long because you're already old. And my mom's already old at the gates. And I'm 8. Mom is the same age as me. So that was making me feel like I'm going to be old when I'm at the school gates. And another one she asked me was, Tani Tam, why do men have to ask women to get married? And I said, because it's a romantic thing to do. She said, what if you don't want to marry the boy? Good question. I was stuck.
So I was coming from the gym with my daughter. I've been struggling with weight all my life. My daughter is 5. I don't know what happened. I tripped on something. I really don't know what happened. And I fell. And my daughter was like, Mama, I think we must go back to the gym. You really need to lose weight. People are going to laugh at you because you are too fat. And I'm not even that fat.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
Kids can be brutally honest, can they not? Well, he was certainly the man of the hour last evening. Yesterday we launched here at Prime Media Place the Clement Manyatela Foundation, and I mean you had to have been here. Industry colleagues, titans of industry no less. coming out from the world of business. We had academics. We had a judge or two. We had just prominent people coming out to support the launch of the Clement Manyatela Foundation. And my favorite story of the evening, Clement Manyatela, was speaking to a high school teacher.
Mr. Paswane.
No. It was a lady.
Oh, Memungwe.
Yes. The one was Spedi.
Yes.
The one who insisted you guys must speak English.
Always insisted that we have to speak English with
So
her.
she tells me, she said, okay, I'll start with the bad news and then the good news.
What's the
she
bad?
She says, although he wasn't the brightest in my class.
What's that? Well, that is
she
true.
She says you and
true.
a friend of yours would meet her at the bus and would offer to help carry her bags. All the way to school or the class or whatever the case may be. And she says what she was here to celebrate last night was the young boy she remembers who has stayed consistently the same in terms of his generosity, in terms of his intention, in terms of his kindness, in terms of thinking about others. And I thought, gosh, you can't get higher praise than that.
Oh, that's so sweet. That woman has played such a significant role in my life. And I was very emotional when I saw her yesterday because, you know, I've told the story of how when we are growing up in our schools in the village, we get taught like math in Sepedi, geography, Kasipedi. So there's not much opportunity for us to speak English. And she always said to us, you guys don't have the advantage of speaking the language. I need you every time you speak to me, you must speak in English because I'm trying to prepare you for when you get to university. The world is going to require that you at least are proficient in that language. It's a medium of instruction. And that played such a key role because it really helped prepare us.
And as you explained this time yesterday, your foundation really is about helping rural kids, underprivileged kids, access better futures, better opportunities. I mean, I've spoken to doctor friends of mine who had to study physical science, such as it was called in those days, without labs.
Yes.
They had to be told a picture of a Bunsen burner. Now, the experiment would normally work like this, and they had to memorize the steps without having seen these things. And only when they got to university do they finally see what it looked like.
Yeah. I did physical science myself at this high school, and we've never had a lab. The sad thing, and I spoke about this yesterday in my speech, is that that school still doesn't have a science lab, and they're a science school. So the learners there still rely on pictures. When they talk about tubes and it's pictures, you can't physically demonstrate that. And I think
I'm sure you can get videos now at least.
And you show them how. They don't have screens. So one of my dreams, as I said yesterday, is to really, through this foundation, to build them that science lab. Because I think if we're serious about producing scientists or at least entertaining interests of learners who are interested in science, then we need to be able to give them the instruments that lead them to that path.
All right, what's on the show today?
On the show today, we're going to start.
Great interview at 10 o'clock.
There is. Oh, KG, guess who? The biggest interview we've ever had on this station, on the Hanging Out feature. Bongani Bingwa, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll be announcing my own foundation. Hey, Clement.
I'm really excited today because I've been wanting to host Bongani on the Hanging Out feature for the longest time now, probably since last year, but he's the busiest man ever. So I'm glad that he has squeezed us in his busy schedule today. So between 10 and 11 o'clock, we are going to get to know Bongani Bingwa very well. There are things I found out about you last night reading the prep that I didn't know about you.
Oh, gosh.
So I can't wait for the listeners
I wonder if I know them.
Well, I hope you do. So between 10 and 11 o'clock, Bongani Bingwa is hanging out with us. At 11 o'clock, I want us to have a conversation about the music industry and whether this country and private companies or industry is failing the music industry. The Summer Awards happened and a lot of people were disappointed even in the quality, and I wonder if that really speaks to where the music industry is. So I'll speak to the executive producer of the Summer Awards about that at 11.
Clement, between 9 and 12.
This advert is paid for by the political party concerned.
I love my hometown, but for too long now, I look around and think we deserve better than this. The water goes off for days. The streets are falling apart. and things never get fixed. Look, I'm not asking for anything fancy. I just want basics to work. And I know they can work because I've seen it where the Democratic Alliance is in charge. I want our town to work for all. So in this election, I'm voting DA.
This advert was paid for by the political party concerned.
Smart business moves save money. Switch to Outsurance Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Here's Stephen from the Villa Rosa.
I was with my previous insurer for 8 years and then I switched to Outsurance Business Insurance. I'm very happy with the premiums and switching was the best decision we ever made.
Get a quote to switch and save today. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 0600 60,000. Licensed insurer in FSP. TCs and information online.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
wakandinyengedza ndiwe wakandinyengedza ndiwe.
You know, proficiency with an instrument is one thing, but when your sound becomes part of the continent's musical heritage and legacy, now you're talking. Louis Mhlanga is on that level. Born in South Africa, raised in Zimbabwe during the struggle years, he spent more than 4 decades building a career across this region of the world, Southern Africa and beyond. He's shared stages and studios with some giants of music on the continent: Miriam Makeba, Hugh Masekela, Ray Phiri, Sipho Mabuse, Busi Mhlongo, and is now bringing that musical journey to Bromfontein, where he's going to be performing this Saturday, the 22nd of August, at Jazz Josie Gold. It's going to be an intimate setting, the kind of room where you don't just hear the music, but you hear the instruments talking to each other and talking to you, the audience, living in your ears. Louis Mhlanga, a very good morning to you and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Thank you so much for having me on your station. Good morning to you.
You are an impresario, are you not? I mean, let's start with the guitar. What was it about that instrument that first captured you? And when did you realize that that could be your voice, musically speaking?
Well, I mean, it all comes from the inspiration from my growth way back. As I was growing, my brothers used to bring in friends who had guitars, and I would watch them, strum away and sing. So from time to time when they brought those instruments, it really inspired me. That's when I decided, well, let me try and pick up the instrument.
Without making you sound like an old man, you've been doing this for more than 4 decades, right? What would you say has changed the most about how music is made today and how artists are willing to experiment?
Well, I mean, people right now, they are venturing into AI, which I'm not really into. And they try all kinds of things. All the music, most of the music is computerized these days. People, they don't really get inspired to write music, because really music is something which is very spiritual, because it comes, it can come during your sleep, or maybe you're dreaming, and the song can appear, at that instant. But it doesn't happen like that these days. That's the difference now. People, they just use computers, so it's very, to me, it's very clinical. It's not spiritual anymore.
But also, I mean, some of the observations you make through your music are just about reframing how we see things. I mean, I'm thinking of living for a living, for example. I mean, so many people struggle for a living, right? But the idea of living for a living, a full life. Talk to me about that and how you respond when audiences take their own meaning from your music.
It's actually very nice that people take their own meaning from the from the music, which they listen to, which is very good. But also, living for the living, to me, as I express it, it's because all of us are linked together. We are a chain to one another. We live for each other. So that is the whole thing, that we live for each other, all of us.
You've worked with some extraordinary artists, as I said in my introduction, from Miriam Makeba to Huma Segela, Ray Phiri, Busim Mhlonge, amongst many others. What do you learn from artists of that caliber? What do you walk away with?
All those artists, they have their journeys which they've gone through, many different journeys. So throughout those journeys, they had to, they share stories, they share their musical experiences, and that's so much to learn. Besides just musical journeys, sometimes it's just general, information about life, their lives, what they've experienced through their journeys. So there's so much to learn from them. And I've learned a lot, and it doesn't stop there, because one keeps on learning. The more you meet more people, the more you learn from them.
I mean, you are, of course, this weekend performing at Jazz at Josie Gold in Bromfontein. How important is it to you? Because you have been celebrated internationally, you've been featured on CNN, and people all over the world are familiar with that lyrical guitar. How important is it for you that, in a sense, this performance this weekend is all about a prophet receiving honor in his hometown?
Well, Josie Gold also is a new venue. We've had so many venues that have come up and, shut down. So having such a new venue, operating, and I'm sure it's also going to attract different people coming to that venue. And the fact that I'm also playing there this weekend on Saturday, it's going to bring about, I'm coming with great musicians that I'm working with, Michael Phillips on bass, Randall Skippers on keyboards, Rob Watson on drums, and Basi Mahlasela on percussion. We are bringing together, we are bringing, so we are bringing.
Sounds like a feast.
It is.
All right, tickets can be purchased at Quicket. It's happening, of course, on Saturday, as I say, at 6 o'clock at 81 de Kort Street in Bromfontein. Josie Gold Brewing Company this Saturday, the great Louis Mhlanga.
702. More than a radio station.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa was brought to you by BCX, connecting cloud, telecom business, connectivity, AI, and more to help organizations reduce complexity, improve resilience, and unlock opportunities.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Self-proclaimed political fixer Brian Mokgotsi. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Self-proclaimed political fixer Brian Mokgotsi returns to the Johannesburg Magistrates Court today for pre-trial proceedings. Mokgotsi faces charges including perjury, defeating the ends of justice, and the unlawful possession of a firearm. He was arrested in May for allegedly staging a hit on himself last year. Kozikona Malingamnisi reports.
The state has successfully applied for the identities and addresses of witnesses to remain confidential. Prosecutors are concerned about possible witness intimidation, alleging that Mokgotsi's wife visited a witness after the person's address was disclosed in court. Mokgotsi was arrested shortly after appearing before the Mhlanga Commission. He claims to have